Pandora's box is about to open wide.
Hello, once again, everybody. It is Pandora's Box with yours truly, Obadiah Pennywhistle, and Drewsif. Drewsif McLeod, as he's known as today. We are people of many names on this show. Today we've got another special guest on the show, but our first one that we actually went to school with. So we've got Jess Mann on the show. Is that your name now? Is that your name?
Jess Mann's great. Jessica
We'll just call you whatever. We'll just call you whatever. So that's how we know you, because obviously we went to school with you. So Jess, you are go on.
I was gonna say professionally, it's Jessica Mann. I guess is my stage name, darling. But
personally, it could be many things. Mysterious. Just leave that one as a mysterious thing for anyone listening. But yeah, so you're an actress, aren't you, Jess?
Yes, I am. Yeah.
But we thought you'd be a really cool guest to have on, and we were sort of like, we're always brainstorming like who to have on, and we've had like a real sort of like plethora. You like that word on Pandora's Box? Plethora of sort of guests on, from like the Amazonian shamans and all sorts of like musicians and athletes and stuff like that. But we thought you'd be like a real fun and quite like relaxed guest to have on, because you're like you're an interesting person. There you go. I'll say it. You're an interesting person. But also, we went to school with you, and you were in our tutor group at school. So that's quite like a funny nice little thing, isn't it? We were literally just saying before we started, like, the first guest we've had on that we were in like the same tutor group as at school, or we went to school with at all, for that matter.
All of the embarrassing things I did as a teenager.
Well, can't even really remember that far back, really. But I remember you being. I remember you obviously being in our tutor group, and I remember like little things like because obviously me and Drew have always like played music and been musicians, and like me and Drew were talking about the other day, like we can remember like you like playing piano and singing and stuff, and you're like really good as well.
Thanks, babe. Yeah.
Do you still like play music?
Yeah. I kind of stopped for a while. And I've only just started getting back into it over the last year. I think just remembering how much I enjoyed it, to be honest. The singing is difficult. I mean, as you guys know, if you play an instrument, you kind of have to keep playing it, otherwise you will lose the ability. So I'm really kind of rediscovering my voice and kind of having to relearn it, really. Because I just didn't sing for so long. But I definitely am getting back into it. I've done a couple of covers that I'm hoping to kind of record and put out there.
Oh, you definitely should. Because I said, me and Drew were talking about it. We can remember that you'd be like really good. We'd come into the music hut, you'd be there playing the piano, like singing your heart out, and we'd be like, damn. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
such fun memories of that in school.
Yeah.
And Jess, I remember a song you were playing, and was it your own song? Did you write some songs as well?
Yeah, I used to really write songs.
And I remember like you playing it, and I asked you what it was, and you were saying, you wrote it and everything. Like, I remember you belting the vocals out and playing the piano. It was like, whoa!
I think that's my memory of
so cool.
Yeah,
so cool.
I think that's my memory of like coming in and like listening to you like sing and play. I think that was like your own stuff. I think it was from my memory.
I couldn't walk past piano without bashing out something. It was probably quite annoying.
Oh, yeah.
And I remember
it was great.
But you were really giving it some. I remember you were like sort of really pouring your heart out into it as well, which was like really cool. Because
I was a massive fan of Regina Spektor. She was huge. And Delta Goodrem. Oh, so cheesy, but I love it.
I could be honest, I can't really say obviously I've listened to much of either of them, but obviously
I know Regina Spektor.
Yeah, I think
really cool, but I don't know the other lady.
She's Australian who was in Neighbours, and
well, that makes it then, doesn't it? I mean, what more would you ask for?
She's awesome.
Kylie, Jason Donovan,
Drew.
Yeah,
I remember there was someone called Drew in Neighbours. Was that Home and Away?
I thought Drew was going to try and
I'd never seen my name anywhere else before, and I was like, oh, that person's called Drew.
I thought Drew was going to try and claim that he was in Neighbours then for a second. You definitely weren't. I mean, he moved down from Hartlepool when he started year 7, so Hartlepool is definitely not Australia. Less barbecues, more killing monkeys up in Hartlepool.
Yeah.
Do you know that story, Jess?
No.
Do you know about the monkey story? So Hartlepool is like famous. Like, one of the things it's famous for is during the Napoleonic War, a French ship, like a damaged French ship, washed up on like a beach in Hartlepool, and all of the French like sailors and stuff had like abandoned ship because it was in such bad damage. And for some reason, there was a chimpanzee on the ship, and the good old simple people of Hartlepool obviously saw just like the French flag on the ship and found the chimp. And because they'd never seen or met a French person before, they just assumed that the chimp was a French person. They hung the monkey.
They hung the monkey in the town square.
That's technically incorrect. A chimp isn't a monkey.
Those who hung the monkey.
It's one of the great ape species. But yeah, they hung the chimp. Isn't that bad?
Poor chimp.
Mean.
And when I met Drew in year 7, I went home and I told my dad that he was like, oh, have you made any new friends then? And that's when me and Drew met in year 7 at the time. Because you started in like year 8, was it? Did you start in year 8 or a bit later in year 7?
But even later, about year 10.
No, it wasn't that late. I'm sure I was still like little chubby guy with a quiff when we first met.
Maybe year 9.
Yeah, because I swear we were still really young.
15.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll get onto that in a little bit. But I remember when I first met Drew, and then I was like, my dad was like, have you met any new friends? And I was like, yeah, I've like a little funny Hartlepudlian guy and stuff. And he was like, yeah, like you should call him Mr. Monkey. And then I asked him why, and then he told me the story. So yeah, Drew, like sometimes even to this day, I still call him Monkey Man, just because, you know. Yeah, so that's part of Drew's heritage.
I feel like I've come here today and learnt so much. Thank you guys.
Yeah, already we're only 6 minutes in, but it's really fun. Yeah. Do you remember obviously another really good friend of ours? Do you remember like Josh Ayest? He was in our tutor group as well.
Yeah. Of course, I remember Josh.
Yeah, Josh is a lovely guy.
You guys were the guys with the like trio with the most incredible hair.
Oh, thank you so much.
I had hair envy.
Yeah. Well, yeah. We all just had like super long locks, but I can remember even walking in like through town with Josh around that time. It's funny you said that because I remember it wasn't even like late in the day. I think it was like 5 p.m. or something. But obviously being Bridgewater, we just bumped into this really drunken lady, and she was just like, she looked at Josh and she went, do you perm your hair? And Josh was like, no. And then she looked at me and went, do you straighten your hair? And I was like, no. And she was like, this is just not fair. She was like, if I tried to straighten my hair, she was like, my hair wouldn't be as straight as yours. And she was like, and if I tried to perm my hair, it wouldn't turn out like yours. She was like, and you guys, she was like, do you even do anything to your hair? And we were just like, wash it like once a week. And she was like, yeah, like that is crazy.
You sure
and
that lady wasn't me?
it might have been. We were just so drunk we didn't even realise that it was you, our classmate. But yeah, and then Drew obviously had like the super poofy hair.
Oh, your hair
it was almost like the McDonald's M, wasn't it?
I don't know about that.
Yeah,
it was huge.
It's alright if it had a bit of frizzies in, but not freeze. Yeah, I put frizzies in and it'd go a bit curly for a bit, and then it would just go like afro, like. So that was a bit annoying, but.
Yeah, I mean, I can sympathise because Drew. I remember you saying to me before, Drew, like your hair was like so big and so thick that it used to like really like give you like an itchy scalp and that.
Oh yeah.
I never really had to bother with that too much because my hair wasn't like overly thick or like massive. It wasn't like like duvet stuffing. Like your hair was like duvet stuffing.
I got jealous of Josh's because his ringlets were so perfect, and I was like, mine are for like 5 seconds, and it's just like.
Yeah.
When did you go short, Drew?
I keep like growing it and then cutting it and growing it, and I've just done that for the last like 20 years really, so I've probably had it like long, like 3 or 4 times throughout.
Yeah. You fully cut it, didn't you, when we were about like what, 19, 18?
Yeah.
18? And then
grew it right out again, really.
Yeah, you grew it out again, and then you cut it, so it was like super long again, wasn't it? And then you cut it like a few years ago, and then you sort of, like and then since then you've been sort of like growing it a bit.
Got to about here, and then I cut it again. So I had a mullet recently, but I cut that off as well.
I thought his mullet looked really good. I thought it really suited him.
Do you know what? If you ever need a mullet, it turns out I can do it because I shaved my friends not that long ago.
Are you secretly like a mullet connoisseur?
Yeah, just a mullet though, nothing else.
No other hairstyles, purely the mullet. Well, it's a strong haircut, man. I mean, Patrick Swayze, 80s. Theo Von. Yeah, I mean, it's
really made a comeback. It really made a comeback.
I like it though. I think a lot of 80s stuff has made a comeback, but I'm quite glad about it because I feel like for us, obviously we were born like our year group was either born like 89 or 90. Like we grew up. Obviously, most of the stuff on television would have either been like 80s or very early 90s. So that was like the style. So I find it comforting being around like mullets and other and like double denim and stuff as well. Do you know what I mean? I'm a fan of some double denim.
Is that your Britney Justin kind of phase?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, Jess, I don't really know what that means, but yeah, let's go with it. What does that mean? Like a Britney Justin phase?
As in Britney Spears and Justin Timberlake.
Yeah, I know who they are, but
Oh, right, good. Whoa, we got some education to do. But
Yes.
no, I think they went to an MTV Awards or something, and they both wore double denim.
oh
And it
really?
was like 90s iconic, or like 2000s iconic fashion. I was waiting for Drew.
Yeah. But do you know what? I love it when we sort of like branch off topic and stuff on this show, because we haven't really even started talking about you yet. We've just been talking about like randomly about hairstyles and stuff like that. But I think it's like
your hair is looking ravishingly beautiful as well at the moment.
Oh, Drew.
Look at those. Look at the curls at the
I'm
front.
gonna make her blush, man.
I'm just saying, I can kind of see little on the screen here, and I'm like,
No,
whoa.
I'm an actor. Keep it coming. Keep it coming.
Yeah.
You're like, it's like, well, you're sort of like you're honing at almost like 1950s actress vibes. Do you know what I mean? That's
Well,
how I'm feeling.
I didn't even like realize kind of that's where I was going, and then I was doing some kind of a monologue kind of challenge where you have to submit a monologue every day, and one of the monologues came up, and I decided, screw it, I'm going to do it old Hollywood style. And
Nice.
it was just so good, and I was like, damn, I really like this.
I'm
This
keeping
is-
that.
Yeah, I'm feeling
Yeah.
it. This is my niche.
Yeah, you like if like you had a part in like Downton Abbey, I would not be surprised right now. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, that
you
is
look
the
at just-
dream. That
You could
is
just
the
like walk
dream.
in just like any scene, and I'd be like, oh yeah, that looks in the place. Yeah, that looks right.
Yeah, that is the absolute dream for me. I would love to do a period.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah, I actually randomly got into Downton Abbey a couple of years ago, and it was like, I never thought I would do, but it's like one of those things. Do you know what I mean? It's like I don't think I would have watched it off my own back, but there's certain things that like if people around you are watching it, you know, like if like my missus was watching it, and I knew that my mum liked it as well, and then I was exposed to it enough that I was like, once you get into the storyline,
I'm into it now.
that's it. That's it. By that point, you're like, oh wow, this is all crazy,
And if it's got a good
never-
story, hooks you in.
Yeah, that's what it needs. I never really watched it, to be honest, but my mum is a huge fan.
Yeah,
Yeah,
But
it's a mum thing,
I've
isn't
never
it?
seen it yet.
but
It's a mum
sort of
and Calum thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
Along with Gilmore Girls.
Yeah. Gilmore Girls as well, obviously.
Oh, once again, I only dipped in, but my obsession was Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Oh, yes.
I'm talking to you. We're going to talk a lot about Buffy today because I was like Buffy's biggest ever fan in the day, back in the day.
Oh, I can't wait. Oh. So I
Right,
did
well,
really
yeah.
randomly. I did a sword fighting course.
Nice.
Nice.
That's
So
epic.
I've got a qualification in rapier and dagger.
You're like
And
this.
we got to
You're like this,
choose-
Jess. Look at this bad boy.
Oh my god, that is beautiful.
That's so cool, isn't it? Look at that.
Well, I'd love to parry with that.
That's what she said.
Literally.
Yeah, literally. Yeah, it's just said it.
But we did our exam to a scene from Buffy, so I got to be
Oh,
Buffy.
nice.
It was
What
the
scene?
best moment of my life.
When Buffy and Angel were having a sword fight before he went to hell?
No, because it's two.
No?
I was with another girl, so we did it. Buffy and Faith,
Oh,
So-
I remember the scene. Yeah.
and ended it with. We kind of did an amalgamation of a few, but ended it with the iconic. You did it, Buffy. You killed me.
Oh, yeah. And then she like falls off.
And then, like,
Is that when she
slit
falls
her
off?
throat. Yeah, it was great.
Is that when she slits her throat?
No, I slit my partner's
Oh.
throat.
I was going to
changed
say, I
the
can't remember
fight
that on the show. Oh, yeah, I was going to say, and you just straight up just murked her. Just because in the show, doesn't she like fall off a building onto a truck? Is that the bit? Yeah, I thought so. Yeah. Sharing obviously our Buffy knowledge, yeah. But yeah, do you know what? It's so funny. I knew that you really like Buffy only because, and I'm such a freaking like Buffy nerd that I got like I was like, that's really cool. I remember just about like a year ago or something, you like put up a picture of yourself dressed as like one of Buffy's iconic sort of looks from back in the day with like the red leather trousers and something like that. And you basically, I can't remember what you said in the post, but obviously made it clear that you were like a massive Buffy fan. And I was like, so am I. So like I was like, real recognizes real, So,
It is. I mean, the greatest show ever made. I
I loved it, man.
Stand
Yeah,
by it.
I actually sort of like during like the lockdown, I sort of watched it all over again, and it was great.
I'm rewatching it as we speak.
Oh yeah,
Nice.
I mean,
Where-
I've already rewatched it about 4 times, so
yeah.
it's like a
Where
real
are you at?
nostalgic. I am season 4 or 5, I think.
Oh, what is that like? So she's in college by this point and stuff. Buffy.
Yeah, and Adam's already been killed. The
Oh,
crazy
yeah.
mutant guy.
Like Frankenstein guy.
But what's really Monday is my Buffy day because there is a
I love how you've got an
podcast
allocated Buffy day.
because there's a podcast that comes out on a Monday called The Rewatcher, and it's a woman who's kind of around about our age, and her niece never watched Buffy and is a Gen Z, and she's
Okay.
re-showing it to her, so she has to watch an episode each week, and they kind of go through each episode, and it is so wonderful to listen to an
man, yeah.
absolute hardcore fan and have a young'un
Oh yeah.
re-experience it for the first time. It's brilliant.
I always get like disheartened when like, you know, you say like 20-year-olds nowadays can't appreciate something like Buffy. It just almost makes me a bit angry. Do you know what I mean? I'm like, how dare you?
Yeah,
You know?
no. If you don't like Buffy, you die.
Right, it's just, yeah.
It's cool that there's a podcast out that's just all about that. Is that what the whole podcast is? It's
Yeah.
like just going through all these episodes and seasons. That's
cool.
cool, isn't it?
It
Like,
is
Who's it
awesome.
like? Who hosts it? Is it like somebody to do with the show or just a fan?
It's the same people who do Morbid, which is quite a huge podcast. I can't
Oh, I
remember their names off the top of my head. I'm so bad with names. They literally announce themselves at the start of every episode.
Yeah, no, fair enough. Yeah,
I'm just there for Buffy. But no,
Yeah.
it's really wonderful because you find yourself as a hardcore fan, knowing that there's a really epic episode coming up. So they just did Hush, which is one of the most iconic episodes, and they had I've
with
got
the
his name-
gentleman. The gentleman.
The gentleman. They had one of the guys who plays the gentleman. They had
yeah.
him on as well.
I imagine he's tall and creepy
oh,
looking.
nice.
Yeah,
Get
yeah.
guests
He
on.
also plays the Labyrinth. Not the
Oh,
Labyrinth. He doesn't
what,
play
the-
Labyrinth. He plays
guy?
that
Pan's Labyrinth guy.
He
Mhm.
plays the whole Labyrinth. Yeah,
No, I know exactly what you meant though. The guy with the pasta put his
pan in
eyeballs
Pan's
in his
Labyrinth.
hands and then he's like,
yeah.
and then like starts chasing the little kid. Yeah.
Yeah. You're screaming at the TV, "Don't it, you stupid."
Yeah. You stupid such and such.
No swear words on this show.
Yeah, Jess was asking us earlier. She was like, "What's the swearing protocol?" And I said, "Like, obviously we don't care, but because this show goes on."
But Ofcom do.
Yeah, Ofcom do a bit. Yeah, bit
Those
fuddy-duddy.
boring people.
It is one of the annoying things about sort of British radio because on American radio there's like no restraints, and I don't think there is in any other like in Europe there's not any either.
Mm.
So like European and American bands, if they ever send us music that they want us to play, and sometimes I mean the ones that are like real veterans, they're like they know it, they're used to it. But some of the younger up and coming bands, if we ask for like what's called like a clean edit, they're like what? And it's like yeah,
Why?
because we can't play a swear word, and they're like what? Because they're used to obviously like if you're like Italian or American. There's no rules like that there, so it's annoying that we're like the fuddy-duddy country in that respect. It's like, come on,
I
grow
know,
up,
but the
really.
fuddy-duddy in me
Grow up.
is quite shocked that they don't have clean version.
Yeah, you're like, no, we are British and we want a clean version, please.
I want
Even if-
words missing, and like, when tracks sound
Yeah.
really weird. Yeah, great music.
What was it? It was like when Chasey Elaine by Bloodhound Gang became real famous, but it's a song about basically just like a porn star in it, and I just remember there was like the amount of swear words because it became like a massive hit. Radio stations like couldn't not play it, but there were so many swear words in it. The whole song was just like near, like the whole way through. And I just remember it was like, what's the point of even playing it? You know?
that iconic moment when Rage Against the Machine made it to number one.
Oh,
as a
yeah.
fight against the X.
Do what you tell me. Do what you tell me. Yeah. Important question, Jess. Important question. Angel or Spike?
Spike. Always Spike.
Oh no.
I never had much of a thing for Angel. I found him
No?
really annoying.
Why?
Get over yourself, you mopey beep word. It's just always, and then, I don't know. I kind of liked Evil Spike. No, I didn't like Evil Spike. He was annoying too. Evil Angel. I love
Jess?
Spike.
All right. Right. You didn't like
also,
Eve.
the
You didn't like
iconic-
Angelus or Angel.
No, I'm just.
Mate, Angel was probably like my favourite character, Jess. This is where we diverge.
We're gonna have fights.
Yeah, we're going to
For
have a
me, like-
Buffy and Angel style fight.
An iconic teenage awakening was the Buffy Spike have sex until the house falls down scene.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like,
See-
that it was.
See, I got angry back in the day when Buffy got with Spike because I was like, no, Angel was the only vampire that Buffy can get with.
I think when I was a teenager, I was kind of the same, to be honest. I really did
Right.
love Angel, but as an adult, I find him pretty
But don't you
annoying.
think, right, putting yourself in his shoes, like if you were him, don't you think you'd be pretty mopey? I mean, with the fact that like he was like supposed to be like the most murderous vampire, like potentially of all time or whatever, and then you finally get your soul back, and then you've got all these memories of like mutilating babies or whatever he's supposed to have done, and like killing just like ridiculous amount of virgins.
That sounds fun. I don't know.
Yeah.
Not talking about myself, but
Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And then imagine just having to live with that like every day, and also knowing that like you've got your human soul back, but you can't like really fall in love or anything like that. And
I have sympathy and empathy for him, but sometimes he makes really irritating choices, like prom.
like what?
Like
Okay.
like he decides, even though there's like this big bad coming, he decides like, okay, I'm just not going to come to prom, and like I don't want to distract you, Buffy. And it's like, what makes you think you're the main character, Angel? You're not the main character. Get out of the way.
So you just think that he should have just gone to prom?
Yeah. Don't break up with her like the day before prom.
Yeah.
Are you stupid? That's such a man thing to do. Are you stupid?
Yeah, no, I do agree with you that is like stupid, but then I guess I also empathise as a man myself that also makes stupid decisions from time to time. I'm like, do you know what I mean? It's probably realistic. If he was like for some flawless guy, then it would be a bit unrealistic. And Spike's definitely not flawless. Spike's a right beta at times. He was like he was like begging Drusilla to get back with him really pathetically for a while and stuff.
Yeah, that's really pathetic. Yeah.
Yeah, it was quite pathetic, wasn't it?
Quite pathetic.
And she was like disgusted by the end. She wasn't having any of it. She was just like.
She choose to go with like some kind of weird demon instead, like a stinky.
Oh yeah, he was like the really stinky demon, wasn't he? Yeah, yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
What does that say? How he's like?
Drew probably didn't realise that this was just going to be a Buffy special episode.
So I thought I liked Buffy.
Yeah.
Now I can see real Buffy fans. Because to be honest, the only time I really watched it was I went over and stayed over at Calum's house, and he would just have it on in the background. Yeah. And I thought it was really cool. But that's about as far as it went with me, I think.
Oh man, yeah, I was deep into it.
I want to get back into it.
This is a very important Buffy question, and then we should probably move on. But
okay,
how do you feel about the musical episode?
Wasn't overly keen, to be honest.
Same.
Yeah.
That's really sacrilegious for a lot of Buffy fans, but I couldn't get past how bad some of the singing was.
I thought it was a bit cheesy, but like
I love musicals. I'm like a musical theatre kid.
Well, man, I love. Obviously, we've already established we all love music, but I love a wide variety of music. I love like classical music. I love opera. I mean, some of the best musical experiences I've had was I went to see Sorrento Folktales in Italy, and it was just like pure operatic singing, classical like playing, and it was like blew my mind. Do you know what I mean? So like, yeah, I can appreciate anything, if it's like moving and it's genuinely good, but. Yeah, I thought it was just a bit cheesy and a bit cringe, as you said, because I think some of it was a bit bad. It came across as cringeworthy, and I like cheesy stuff, but it has to be the right kind of cheese. Like we were talking about like 80s stuff. Like I like double denim, 80 like mullets. Like that's cheesy, but it's cheesy in a way that I like it. I like some classic rock bands like REO Speedwagon and stuff like that. Where it's like I wanna keep on loving you. Like to me, that's like cheesy, but that's like cheesy in a good way. Like I can like sink my teeth into that. But yeah, I wasn't really that keen on that episode.
No, not me. Not me.
My favourite Buffy seasons were like the first 3 probably.
Oh, interesting. Because the first one is incredibly cheesy, but it's epic. I don't know if you've they kind of pointed this out on the podcast, and once you see it, you can't unsee it. How bad the stunt doubles are. It's
I've noticed it with I don't know why, but I always noticed it with Angel's character predominantly.
Yeah.
I think probably because he had a lot of fight scenes and because his stunt double didn't really look much like him, so it became very obvious.
It's a theme for the first few seasons. All the stunt doubles look nothing like them, and it's absolutely brilliant.
Yeah,
so
it's quite funny.
to watch.
yeah, I definitely noticed it a lot with whoever David Boreanaz's stunt double was. Yeah, that was quite comical. But yeah, did you ever watch any like the spin-off show Angel as well? Or not really? If you weren't really that keen on Angel, then I can imagine you didn't.
I'm not that keen on Angel, and I was never particularly keen on Cordelia. So
right, yeah, fair enough.
I feel like I should though, because there's some side episodes,
lots of crossover episodes. Yeah, there's some good crossover episodes and stuff, and like Spike's in it, like sometimes, and Faith's in it sometimes. So it does have crossover.
I do like Faith.
And even like episodes when Buffy comes in as well.
Oh yeah, because there were some really weird episodes in Buffy where she talks about stuff that's just happened. And you're like, what?
Yes, yeah. So it's like without watching both of them, you wouldn't really get it. Yeah, yeah.
So Hi
Yeah, go
everyone.
on.
We hope you've enjoyed this episode of Buffy Talk.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I'm like just digging. I'm rolling. I'm just rolling with it, man. I'm just
Good,
rolling
good,
with it.
Jess, did you ever watch Supernatural? That was another one that Calum showed me, and like that was an epic series.
No,
Yeah,
Sam
not
and Dean.
really.
Ah, that's
I can
pretty
imagine
cool.
you'd probably like that. If you like Buffy, you'd probably like that. Yeah.
Some
I
of
mean, it's
it,
just like-
some
go on.
stuff I really like, and then some stuff is just a bit much for me. So things like the Vampire Diaries was too cheesy.
Oh, I didn't watch that. Because that's just like a bit silly, isn't it?
Yeah, it's silly.
I'm just talking loads about my love for Buffy and that, but maybe it was like an age
Vampires are
thing, you know?
silly.
Yeah. But maybe it was like an age thing. Like I was a little kid when I started watching Buffy, so like even now I'm a fully grown man now, like it has that nostalgic value. Whereas like Vampire Diaries, I think came out when I was probably like 18. By that point in my life, when you're an 18-year-old man, you've probably got more testosterone than you ever have in your life. You're like a raging bull. Do you know what I mean? Like I did not have time for Vampire Diaries when I was that age. You know,
Yeah, I don't know. That's kind of the age I got into
I had time for
Twilight.
Gilmore
My
Girls,
Buffy
but
talk,
not Vampire Diaries.
very different 18-year-old.
Mm.
Oh my god, Edward Cullen. Oh!
Yeah. It's funny, isn't it? The little things go through. Right, well, last Buffy question, and then we're going to actually sort of try and bring it back to you, Jess. Well, this is to you because it's your opinions and stuff. But we're talking about our mutual love of stuff, which is cool as well. But were you ever? What were your thoughts on Riley Finn?
Oh, this is literally what's been talking about in the podcast at the moment because they're
Really?
on the Riley stage. I feel like they assassinated his character.
Do you reckon?
Because I think he starts off really adorable, but I remember as a teenager finding him insufferable, and then as an adult being like, "I'd marry him." He's great.
well,
I'll introduce him to my mum.
I can see that because he is the sort of guy that you'd want to bring home to your mum. Like obviously
The
Angel and
teenage
Spike,
girl,
definitely not.
He's he's too good. You
He's
want a bad
squeaky
boy.
clean, isn't he?
Yeah,
He's
But
too
then-
squeaky
but then
clean.
He goes off the rail. They really destroyed his character quite a bit. He became quite. I mean,
Well, yeah, that whole bit when because he goes from being like the real squeaky clean boy, and then it turns out that he's like this drugged up government
going to vampire
soldier,
orgies.
and then he's going to vampire orgies and getting with like vampire sleuths.
Buffy
You know?
was such a wild show. But
Yeah. What a roller coaster, man.
I mean, he's just done like the whiny thing of turning to Xander and going, yeah, I really love Buffy, but she
Yeah.
doesn't love me. Oh,
Yeah, see, I thought that was all a
up.
bit pathetic as well. Yeah, it was a bit
It
like
was
what we were
sad.
saying earlier on about with like Spike and Drusilla, wasn't it? You know, it was that same sort of thing. Like,
Yeah,
you got to give it to Angel. Angel never did any of that. Jess.
yeah,
Come
but
on.
he did murder her teacher, which was pretty sad.
What, Jenny Calendar?
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
I was so sad. I was so
Well,
sad.
and
when-
Giles misses as well. Giles was not happy about that. Do you remember? Poor
Yeah,
Giles went
yeah.
full on dark side for a minute, didn't he?
I
Oh,
like Giles.
Yeah, Giles was cool, man.
I mean, Giles is the best guy. Like Giles as an adult as well. Giles is the guy you'd marry.
Do you know what? It's so funny because you know I said I watched it again and during like the lockdowns and stuff. Like when I was a kid, I always really liked Giles, but I couldn't associate with him at all because I was like a little kid. But like watching him like now as somebody that was like in their very early 30s, I was like, man, yeah, like if I was Giles, my reactions to what everyone would say and that would probably be exactly the same. Whether I verbalized it or not, you'd be like, where he gets like really annoyed sometimes and he's like, oh God, Americans and stuff.
Yeah.
And just like how like he's like this really intellectual adult just essentially amongst these like kids. It like must be really frustrating for him at times.
Yeah. He does
Yeah.
it so well. Anthony Head is fantastic. He nails it.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole cast do. Everyone in that show is really fantastic.
100%. But sort of getting back to you, Jess, and this is actually why I brought up Josh Ayers. Yeah, when you started in our tutor group, Jess, right? Obviously it's like it's what it's like in school. It's like, oh yeah, we've got new people joining the class. It's Jess Mann and that, and then Josh like pulled me aside very importantly, and he was like, man, you know that girl Jess? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, did you know that she's the little girl on the swing at the beginning of is it Guest House Paradiso?
Yeah.
And I was like, no, she's not. And he was like, yeah, man, she is. And I was like,
How did you
no,
know
she's
that?
not. Man, he's a clever, intuitive guy, right? But me and Josh, growing up, were like massive Rick Mail fans, like really grew up just watching like, you know, the Young Ones and Bottom and stuff. And to this day, I consider like Rick Mail like almost like a hero of mine, you know, just like what a beautiful human being, and obviously passed away several years ago now, but just, yeah, like a legendary sort of like comedic figure in the UK, and just like a really awesome guy. But yeah, and then he was like, man, go home and watch it tonight and you'll see. And then I remember I was like, no freaking way. And I remember it was like really funny because it almost just like felt like we had this like super like celebrity in our tutor group all of a sudden. We were like, oh my, because you know what it's like, let's face it as well, the world was a much bigger place back in the early noughties. Like nowadays, you know, there's much more ways to like interact with, I guess, people that are like famous or whatever. But in those days, I seemed like it felt like there was a divide.
As well.
Sorry,
like,
Jess?
There's such a different category of celebrity.
Yes.
Out there now as well. So you've got your influencers and your TikTokers.
Yeah, YouTube stars and stuff like that.
Sometimes where fame precedes talent, but you know, that's my opinion. but
yeah, no, 100%, because there's a big difference, isn't there? Let's face it. But yeah, and I just remember thinking like, oh my god, there's like literally like a girl that's like literally like breathing the same air as me, as just like as like shared space with Rick Mail. That's crazy. And
then you get to talk to me and you realise I'm a complete weirdo who.
Well, no, it's really funny because
better.
It's just normal. Yeah.
I remember. Do you know what? And I don't know if you remember this at all, but I remember you were really, really shy and quiet. Like for the first few months, I think you were in our tutor group, and I think that's understandable, obviously, because you know you just started like a new school.
Doesn't sound like
you were at first. You were at first, or at least you were with me. And then I remember you chatting to me one day, and I was like really loud and boisterous, and I was one of those people that like acted before I thought when I was a kid. And I remember you were chatting to me one day, and I remember you saying like, I don't know if you remember this still, but you were like, oh, Calum, you were like, you're nothing like I thought you were when I started school. You were like, I thought when I moved into the tutor group, you were like, oh, you were like so loud and always like wrestling your friends and stuff. She was like, I was like worried that you were like a bit of a bully. She was like, but you're not, you're really nice. And I was like, and I remember thinking like, no way, what, she thought I was like a bit of a bully? That's crazy. But then it was nice, obviously, that no, that's all right. But I thought like, oh yeah, well at least you know you don't think I am anymore. But to be honest, I can see probably why like yeah. I mean I was probably the biggest lad in our tutor group, and also yeah, I was just very loud and boisterous. So like to somebody that didn't know me, and because I would always be like, you know, yeah, like wrestling my friends and stuff, I could imagine if you like came in the classroom and I was just like, you know, like DDTing Jake Harding.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like then yeah, it would probably be a bit like, oh god, all right, I'm gonna stay away from him and his gelled quiff, you know, that I was sporting at the time. But yeah, that's crazy. But
maybe I was just jealous of your hair.
What, the gelled quiff? Well, you know, yes, you know, if you need any gel, it's readily available. I'll send you some.
Yes, please.
I'll try and find the brand that I used to use.
Oh, I bet it'll have that real smell as well, like the smell of our childhood.
Yeah. Like glue.
Yeah, that and So Kiss Me is what all the girls sprayed.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah, and what was it? Got to Be? Do you remember that one? Got to Be?
Yeah, you can still get it. You can still get it. It's great.
Yeah, I think you can. Yeah, I think I can see it in the supermarket from time to time. But you know, let's sort of go back to before we knew you. Like where did you like move to? Because obviously you moved to Somerset, which is where we went to school, Haygrove, in the town of Bridgewater, and you lived in Spaxton, didn't you?
Yes, my parents still live there.
Yeah. But where did you move to Spaxton from?
So I originally grew up in Stroud in Gloucestershire. So right by the
not too far then. Not too far.
No, not too far at all. I did a short time in Reading just before I came to Somerset, but like literally a year. My parents were kind of used to buy houses, do them up, and then sell them. So we did quite a lot of moving around.
Oh, is that literally what they did, like for a living?
No, not for a living, kind of as a side project.
Oh, okay.
As you do, because my dad's a carpenter by trade.
Well, if you have the skills, it's obviously a really sensible thing to do, to like buy like houses for cheap, do them the hell up, and then like sell them for like 3 or 4 times what you bought it for. I mean, it's like a no-brainer, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, so
it's so useful to have a dad that is so good at everything.
Yeah.
Like, come to my house, please.
Yeah. Super handy, man. So how did you get into like acting when you were so young? So like to be the girl obviously on the swing in Guest House Paradiso, like that's quite. Like how old were you then? Because you must have been so young, like what, like 4 or 5 or?
No. I was about 8.
Oh, were you?
Yeah, but I was tiny, wasn't I? I was really, really dizzy.
Yeah. I was thinking like, even in school you were like really, really tiny, weren't you? Like when we would have met you.
I never grew. I'm still waiting. I'll grow one of these days.
Still waiting for your growth spurt. So how did you even get that spot like on Guest House Paradiso? So like how did you get into acting? Did your parents put you into it?
No, not at all. I mean, I was always really into acting. Like my school reports before I got into TV and film always said like she really loves drama. Maybe they meant causing drama. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But when I was in Stroud, they were adapting a book written by Laurie Lee. They were adapting it into a film, and he grew up in the Cotswolds, and that's what the book's about. And so they just did an open audition and got all of the kids from the local school to turn up to this massive church hall. And I mean, it was like lines and lines and lines of us. And we just kind of had to read a few lines in front of a casting director. And from that, they kind of said, "Oh, you look like Poppy Green," because it's obviously based on his life. So I was a representation of a child he went to school with, and I got a part through that. And then my mum mingled with some of the kind of older child actors. They had an agency. I really love the agency for kids called Abacus, and signed up with them. And then auditions just came my way.
That's freaking awesome, man.
It was really good. It was an amazing childhood. Lots of going to London. You'd kind of sit outside casting offices, and that you'd be in a corridor with 4 other girls that look exactly like you. Like tiny.
That's so crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, you'd always see
crazy.
the same girls as well. You'd always see them. And I actually once saw Anthony Head, because he was taking his daughter to a casting.
That's Giles to people that aren't aware from Buffy.
I don't know. I was like, so yeah, I was just really fortunate. And then Guest House Paradiso came. I don't think I knew Rick Mail before that.
You weren't like besties or anything. Just hang out, go to the pub.
No, no. But it was really tough. I mean, the audition process is completely different now. But back in the day, you would get sent a script by post. You would, or sometimes you would turn up and you'd just be given a script. You'd have to travel all the way to London. You had to do it in person. You'd probably have 3 or 4 auditions. The first one would be loads of people. The second one would obviously be like a few people. And then for Guest House Paradiso, I was paired up with a boy who needed to play my brother. So they have to do matchings of parents. So it was matching me with Simon Pegg, because they cast him as my dad. And then you go into
that's pretty cool as well, isn't it? Really, because he's so famous nowadays. Like he wasn't that famous at the time, but obviously because of like Shaun of the Dead and all that, like nowadays he's just so famous.
It was just before he really broke out. So I think he was living. Oh, my mum knows this story better, but he was living with a comedian at the time, and it was just before it all really kicked off for him. But yeah, did a reading with Rick in the room with my brother. They got us to improvise. I remember it went on for hours. It was a really long process, and it was kind of meeting, seeing if we gel. And I don't even remember like as a kid like really overly thinking about it. It was just meeting new people, it was just awesome. It was kind of playing games, having fun, improvising. And then I got the part, and that's always been my favorite film part. It was absolutely incredible.
It's quite an iconic part, really.
Yeah. It's so good. Like the film is brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. I know I'm biased, but it's such a good film.
No, it is a really good film. Like me and Josh were really big fans of the film. That's why Josh obviously was like so excited to tell me, and that's why I was like in disbelief. I thought he was just having me on. Like, do you know what I mean? Because it's like obviously it was believable that you would be, but that's why I thought he was having me on. Like he was like, oh yeah, I'm so gonna get Calum with this. I'll just say that she's the girl on the swing from Guest House Paradiso, and I was like, nah, that's obviously just like rubbish. You know what I mean? That just almost just like seemed like it just wouldn't be the case. Like no, obviously the girl that's like moving into the group isn't that girl. Like, I'm like, oh no, she actually is.
Real?
Yeah. I don't know, but you know what it's like when you're a kid, or at least for me, I thought that like little sort of humble town in Somerset, and I grew up in Somerset, in like sort of around Bridgewater all my life. So, I don't know. I don't know. I thought like people like that would be in some like fancy school somewhere, you know, in like Cambridge or Oxford. I don't know. It's like, I don't know. You know what I mean? Got to bear in mind, I was very young at the time, so I was just a bit like ignorant to stuff. It's like obviously now I understand like, yeah, well, just people are just people, aren't they? And you could just be, obviously you could be anywhere and do that sort of stuff. But
yeah, and I was very lucky. I mean, I was in the right place at the right time, which often is the case for a lot of actors, to be honest. But just being picked up in that school and then signing up with that agency, it all led, you know, it all kind of followed on from there. And yeah, since then I've just had some really great experiences. So I worked with Nicholas Hoult just before he did About a Boy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was in.
Oh yeah, I think. Yeah, go on.
Oh, it was in like one of those. Do you remember as a kid, in school, they'd kind of wheel the TV in, and you'd watch with Grandad.
Yeah, of course.
Magic Grandad or whatever, and they'd take. Oh yeah, I did one of those with Miriam Margolyes, isn't it?
Nice.
Got to go back. Got to be dressed up in Victorian clothing, and
That must be fun.
yeah, it was brilliant.
I always think acting must actually be like a super fun profession.
Yeah,
I reckon I'd enjoy it.
Yeah, do it. You
I don't even like. Go on.
Anyone can learn to act. It's not. It's like music. I know people are more predisposed, but it's like saying anyone can learn an instrument. Some people will naturally be better, but it is still possible.
I remember, obviously in the last sort of like 10 years or so, like obviously like there was a lot of like, you know, Vikings or Vikingsy style programs that became like super popular. And up until last September, I had like very like long hair and like an undercut, and people like almost like on a semi-regular basis would come up to me and be like, you should so audition to be on like Vikings or Last Kingdom or something.
Just go up to London and knock on their door and say, I should.
Yeah.
It's like a running joke. It's a running joke with actors that you know, your auntie will say, "Oh, just call them up and ask to be on EastEnders." And you're like, "Yeah, that's how it works."
Yeah, because they do like loads of like big casting calls and stuff, don't they? And I remember I saw one, and it was like in Ireland for like, I can't remember if it was like Last Kingdom or something, but I was like, nah, can't be bothered to go. so that was about it, really.
These incredible Viking looks, and yeah.
I can't remember. I think it was like really short notice or something. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe maybe in future. But I mean, I guess I thought it'd be one of those things that if I went all the way and then you just didn't get it, like it's like, you know what I mean? Maybe it'd be different if I had like I was like dead set on becoming like, you know.
And I think that's why quite a lot in this industry you see so many people getting into acting after university or you know, early 20s, and then it just starts to filter out because you really got to want it to pursue it.
You do hear some like crazy stories, don't you? Like I remember hearing and he's one of those guys that just like never changes depending on like regardless of what decade it's in. So he looks exactly the same as he did in like 1990 anyway. But I remember hearing that like Samuel L. Jackson didn't start acting until he was like 42 or something.
What?
Yeah. I didn't even realize he was like so old. That must mean he's like in his 70s now. But I mean, yeah. Apparently, like, yeah, his first big movie was, I can't remember which one it was now. I think it was like one of the early Quentin Tarantino movies he did. But apparently, like, yeah, he didn't start. He was like a really regular dude, and like pretty hard up for money until he was like in his like about 40, and then randomly, I can't even remember the story of how he got into acting. But yeah, I remember hearing that. I think it was like his first big role was like when he was like 42 or something. And obviously now, he's like one of the most well-known and like actors on the planet, and I assume is very, very rich.
Yeah.
I mean, he just must be. Like, but all the Quentin Tarantino movies and Marvel movies and everything. But I remember thinking like, that's like a cool story. And also it's one of those stories that's nice for people that maybe if you're really wanting to get into it, but you know, I've thought, you know, maybe if you're in your 30s or something and think, probably too late now. Like, no, there are cases where
it's actually easier the older you get. I mean, I'm currently in between agencies. So I left mine last year just because I don't want to say too much, but
yeah,
it's been really difficult to try and get a new agency because whenever you're researching agencies, my biggest advice to an actor out there is to be picky, because there's a lot of naff agencies out there, but it's difficult with my age group because there's just so many on their books. You're just seeing young white females. There's loads of us. Like I'm currently a very oversaturated market. You don't really need me right now. But then I'm sure when I'm you know, 40s, 50s, there's not many of us anymore. I mean, there's also not as many good parts, so that kind of it's difficult. But
I guess it's like, as you just said though, and it's like people, I guess the older you get, like the more people, it will like fizzle out a little bit. So it's like,
good. Bugger off. Get out of the way.
Yeah. But then on like the downs, well, the thing is, I mean, obviously there are great parts for all ages, but I was just going to sort of joke, well, I guess what you don't want to do is be like the kitchen maid in like something like Downton Abbey. Do you know what I mean? Like the generic 50-year-old like head of the kitchen or whatever. In like,
ironically,
your little,
I
like,
auditioned
apron.
for one of the maids in Downton Abbey, but
Did you?
Yeah.
Well, why not? Why not?
I'm just going to take you with me to open the door. Is that okay?
Yeah, go ahead. We're going. Oh man, this is like interactive. This is crazy. Oh. Okay, cool. Let's go. Let's say hello to him. Well, this is the first time we've ever done anything like this with Pandora's Box before. Wow, it's exclusive. Have you still got your awesome? Have you still got your awesome cat, Jess?
Oh, Tora, yes, I do. My baby. Yeah, he's a senior-old boy now. But,
that's another thing that we, along with our love of Buffy, is that we really like fluffy cats. Yeah. Right, so for people that are listening on the radio, Jess is running. She's ran out of her place. She's running outside.
Oh my gosh. Thank you. I'm not wearing shoes and the floor was very wet. Now I have very wet feet.
Well, sacrifices have to be made sometimes in life, you know. Just
really wanted this package. Sorry, guys.
No, that's all right. That's all right. That's what she said.
Now show me that sword one more time. Right, back in the room.
What's in the parcel, or is that top secret?
It's a present for my boyfriend.
Oh, that's really nice.
Yeah, I got him. Oh, actually, this is coming out before he hears it. So,
yeah,
it's just a silly little calendar. I homemade it, but he's an absolute film nerd. So I kind of used alternative versions of movie posters to create a calendar.
Oh, that's very thoughtful of you, Jess. That's really nice.
I try to be nice. I quite like him. So.
Yeah, well, that's always good if he's your boyfriend.
Yeah. Well, kind of.
Preferable.
Can't really talk about him too much.
Okay, fair enough. I mean, I like how just like ominous that is, but we're gonna leave it there. Maybe he's an alien. Maybe he's a mythical beast or something. I don't know.
I mean, he's in my imagination. I don't really have a boyfriend.
Just like
okay.
Yeah, just later on, like, here you go, and it's just like thinner. I hope you like your calendar.
That'd be quite.
That's cool, like that's a movie plot waiting to happen. That isn't it?
I'll get writing it.
Yeah, yeah. Would you ever like be interested in doing anything like that, like writing plots? Have you ever thought about doing stuff like that? Or
that's actually something I'm really interested in doing. I kind of have a story in mind that I'm gonna start writing. I hope, which I can really see as being a series, kind of loosely based on a true crime case.
Okay.
But I mean, I need to really work on it and sit down and work on it. It's finding the time, isn't it? Adulting is really hard.
Oh man, tell me about it. I'd like, it's something I've wanted to get into more, like just like story writing in general. I'd like to almost do like some like horror stuff, because I'm like a big fan of like my horror literature and stuff like that.
Oh, awesome!
But also like fantasy, fantasy. Like, you know, I'm just a massive Lord of the Rings nerd and stuff like that. So I mean, I'd like to write some fantasy and some horror stuff. But as you said, it's just like the time, man. You know, because I've got like a kid as well and everything. Do you know what I mean? And it's
congratulations! I haven't aged.
I mean, she's like almost 4 now. But no, thank you anyway. Thank you anyway. Yeah. No, it's always nice to hear. But obviously, as you can imagine, like having a kid in a very nice way is like having a job, like another job as well. And it's not like a job that ever like you ever switch off from. Do you know what I mean?
No.
It's not like you leave it. So it's but I mean, I think at the same time, in all fairness, you know, you can make loads of excuses, but sometimes you have to do it. So I think, and it depends how much you want to do it. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, it's like I hear that people like always like saying things about like you know, like working out and stuff. They say like, oh, like I wish I could work out, but I don't have the time. But I guess it's like, how much do you want it? Like because I've been working out for like a really long time. It's just, to me, it's like the same thing as almost like cleaning my teeth or having dinner. I just sort of do it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think it, like, you know, it's one of those things that really I just have to sort of just actually sit down and do it at some point, even if it means you have almost like some like sleepless nights. It depends like how much you want it, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's very true. It's very true. I just need to get through the next few months is all.
Yeah.
is where my life's at. So kind of in the middle of a divorce right now. So it's all a bit.
Oh yeah.
It's all.
I can imagine that's a bit stressful.
Time-consuming. Yeah,
I can imagine time-consuming, a bit stressful. Yeah, I mean, like, let's face it, it's not like every day that you go through a divorce, is it? So
I would hope not.
Yeah.
Maybe every year, but not every day.
Maybe if you're like Hugh Hefner or something. Well, he's dead now, isn't he? But yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Did you not know that?
No.
Yeah, rest in peace, Hugh.
What? When did he die?
I don't know. I think it was a couple of years ago or something, wasn't it?
Oh.
Yeah.
Damn, I've missed my chance to be a bunny.
yeah. But sort of like going back a little bit, like when you first moved over to like Somerset, what were your thoughts when you like moved to Spaxton and stuff? Can you remember what you like thought of the place?
What the hell is that smell?
Is that we just like just horse poo everywhere?
No, the plastics factory.
Oh yeah, the cellophane factory.
I genuinely thought I had BO for a few weeks, and then someone told me it was the cellophane.
It just genuinely just smells like, well, it's these things, they shut it down ages ago and it's sort of dissipated by this point, but it used to just sort of smell like farts, didn't it?
Yeah.
That's how I would describe it. It was like a very farty smell.
You kind of, after a few weeks, you just acclimatise to it and you don't really notice it anymore. But when I first arrived, it was stinky as heck.
I think they shut it down in like, I can't remember how long ago now, but it was quite a while ago they shut it down, and it still lingered for like a few years. Like it genuinely did. I'm not even like saying that as a joke, but I think it's pretty much gone at this point. I haven't had a cellophane waft in a long time.
Only people from Bridgewater will know the cellophane waft.
It's a very it's a very strange thing that like one of the things that a town would be known for, isn't it? Really?
Yeah.
Spaxton's a nice village though, isn't it?
Spaxton's lovely. The Quantocks are stunning.
Yeah.
I have so many wonderful memories of cycling over the hills to go visit my dear friend Maxie.
I remember Maxie. She was in our year as well, wasn't she?
Yeah, we're still close as ever.
Oh, that's awesome.
She's my Drew, Calum. She's my Drew.
Oh, yeah. That's so nice though, isn't it? When you have like mates like that.
I always feel boy.
You're monkey man. Yeah. I always like feel like a bit like sounds really condescending actually. I was gonna say like like some of my friends that like are like, oh no, I don't really have anybody that I've been friends with for decades, and I'm like, oh, that's a bit sad, because I mean like me and Josh Ayers have been friends since we were about like 4 or 5 years old.
Oh,
we've been friends since like primary school, and like Drew, and remember Nikki C as well. I can imagine you remember Nikki C from our tutor group. You remember Nikki C? Nick Cope. Everyone called him Nikki C. You don't remember Nikki C?
Oh what? I do. I'm sorry, Nick. Hang on. I'm gonna go on Facebook.
She definitely doesn't. He was like a bit shorter and very skinny and very intelligent.
Oh my God, yes, of course. Yeah. I remember.
He played drums and stuff. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Really nice guy. To be fair, he was a lot quieter then. Like Drew was really wacky, and I was really loud, and me and Josh were like really tall and stuff. So to be fair, it's probably easier to remember us. I don't know if that's like an insult or not to poor Nikki C, but yeah.
No, I remember him now. It's been quite. The thing is, like, I follow you guys on the gram, so
baby.
So I think like I've seen you very regularly for the last few years, so you're very fresh in my mind.
In gram form, yeah.
In gram form.
Yeah. So don't. Am I right in thinking that didn't your folks move into like was it like the Agapemone or something like that? Like quite a famous house.
The Temple of Love.
Oh, yeah, because that's
we covered that on the podcast as well, didn't we?
I think we did talk about it on the show before, because that's
really?
That's got an interesting history, isn't it?
We read the article out.
We read out the original article about when it turned out that when it became common knowledge that there was like this cult living in your parents' house, and that because there was like some strange like vicar or reverend that like started his own sect sort of thing, and then he had like 50 wives or something, and they all had crazy orgies, and then didn't they like bury people in the garden, like stood up?
No, underneath the chapel. So there's
underneath
a platform.
The chapel.
There's a platform that goes. You put the coffin on it, and it'll just go down.
Right.
And then they'll stand the coffins up underneath the chapel.
But they bury people sort of like horizontally, vertically rather than horizontally, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, wasn't it with like the idea that I don't know, like at Judgment Day they could come back to life or something weird like that.
They could skip off happily.
Yeah. Because that's how it works.
It was typical cult. It was run by a guy who thought he was the Messiah.
Yeah.
Until he died, and then his son was.
Turned out he wasn't Messiah, as is usually the case.
And then went, darn. And then his son went, that's because I'm the Messiah, and took over for a bit.
What a legend.
Saw an opportunity, took it.
Do you know what I think's hilarious? Whenever I hear about anything like that, right? Whenever you hear about like cults and stuff, what I think is almost like the craziest thing is that loads of people are like, oh, okay, like, oh, yeah, I'm buying that then. Oh yeah, okay, yeah, I'm just gonna become one of your 50 wives then, and just do whatever you tell me. Like, you know, it's just like
absolutely
crazy.
Fascinating. It really, really I'm really genuinely fascinated by cults because they use such.
Well, it is fascinating, yeah.
They
Propaganda,
use really,
I guess, isn't it?
Really. Yeah, and there is really culty behaviour, I think, in all aspects of the world, even in terms of fan groups and
politics, even.
Politics. Yeah. Don't mess with a Swiftie, you know.
Yeah.
It's a cult.
Yeah, and you see it with like football clubs and that. I mean, I'm not really like a football fan, but I mean, you hear about obviously like, you know, like whoa and all this, like, you know, oh, if you're like in a certain football, like if you're a fan of a certain club, don't walk around this part of London or Manchester because they're like your enemies and you'll get beaten up just because you love like a certain football shirt on or something. And I'm just like, what the hell? That's crazy, man. Like,
you're in a cult, call your dad.
yeah. Or it's like, you know, you hear about it with music, don't you? Not so much nowadays, but in the past they had like the whole like mods versus rockers thing, and like punks didn't get on with metalers, and you know, like nobody really liked the hippies, and
never mind. And I think like because I was kind of thinking back on music that I used to listen to as a teenager, and in a way, like, even though you love the music, it kind of is a part of your identity. You're very like when you're a teen, or maybe like when you need an identity. That's, I guess, you can start to really fall into those groups, and then those groups become so important to you that you would do anything to maintain it. And
it's interesting, isn't it? We've talked about this with some other people on the pod before, but it's like, it's funny. You can definitely see with some people that it's almost like comforting to them to be a part of a group. So they will go all in, and not only do they not mind maybe like the stigma of being attached to like one group, but they actually find a lot of comfort in it, like it's a safety blanket for them. Like, this is my people and this is my thing, and you know, and it's quite interesting.
I think it's fair. Like, life is really hard, and there is something comforting about being told what to do at a certain time. Like, I mean, sometimes you hear about prisoners coming out and not being able to deal with life because everything's so regimented, and they don't have to make a decision at any given point.
They get up, they have it's almost like in your prison, you're almost like a little kid in terms of like, you go to breakfast, the breakfast is made for you. Do you know what I mean? And then it's like you have your daily routine or whatever, and then you have to go to bed at a certain time, and then it's like, oh, okay, you know, they can still have their Xbox in the cell or whatever, at least in this country.
Well, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, what I mean? So it's like, there's not like crazy downsides to it or anything.
And that is why I just fucked an old lady, and I will be going there soon.
Yeah, you know, Xbox and free breakfast. Well, we had like a guest on a couple of weeks ago, like Alan Thrall, and he was like he became sort of famous as like a YouTuber, but he used to be like a US Marine, and he was saying that he like openly said he joined the military because when he left high school, he just like, he didn't want to have to think about what he had to do every day almost. So it's like, you know, you join the military, and it's like super strict, but at the same time, it's like, you go to bed at this time, you get up, you go to breakfast, you got to do this, that. There's no ifs or buts. And then it's like, you know, you got all these little duties that you have to do, and you got to make your bed or whatever. But it's like everything you're told, like everything you're told what to do. You know, you're told to do like everything. There's you don't even have to think about anything. And he said the reason he left was because he realized that he was like, actually, like, he didn't like that. And then he started a business, and now obviously he's responsible for everything. He you know, he's completely self-sufficient. But it just goes on exactly what we were saying. It's like that, something comforting about just not having to think about anything.
And I don't begrudge anyone for that. Yeah, because it's hard. Everything's hard.
Was it like going back to the Agapemone though? Like, was it at all like creepy, like living in a place like that?
Whether you do or do not believe in ghosts, it was definitely haunted.
Oh wow!
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the thing. We're always open to talk about anything on this show.
People had experiences.
Yeah, like what?
I definitely heard footsteps going up the stairs that would stop outside my door. you would often get like a random smell of cigars kind of wafting.
That's really interesting.
My dad, I don't think my dad's pretentious enough to be the one to do that. And you could sometimes hear you could sometimes hear the sound of billiard balls being played. And then my ex once woke up and there was an old lady staring at him.
Nice.
So.
Not really, but
he's like, oh, I'm lucky tonight.
yeah. Hey, old lady. Yeah. Oh, cool.
So yeah, there's been some instances. There's always quite a lot of noises going on. Though sometimes keep an eye on Airbnb. Sometimes my parents open it up for Airbnbs. Yeah,
because it's near like isn't it near like the Lamb pub, isn't it?
Yeah, right next door. Well,
yeah.
Up, yeah.
Yeah. Because I've been to the Lamb quite a few times.
Yeah, I've heard it. I've heard it changed ownership. It's such a Splaxton. Whenever I go home, my parents are like, "Oh, the Lamb's got new owners," and it's that proper like small village.
Yeah, it used to be owned by that guy with like the big beard and the really long hair, and his wife.
Yeah,
that was. I haven't been there since it changed hands, but that was a really good pub when they were in charge.
Really good. I remember having such a Somerset like moment going there with my best friend, who's kind of more Gloucester based, but now like lives in London. And we went to the pub, we're just having a drink, and then a group of boys come chat us up, and they're like, do you wanna come play Skittles? And there's a Skittle alley out back, and we're like, what
yeah
like usually at cocktail bars in London, now we're off like playing Skittles and chatting up.
That's great. Did you take them up on the offer to for Skittles?
When someone asks you to play Skittles, you play Skittles.
That's like a Somerset rule.
Yeah. We didn't want to offend anyone.
No, yeah, fair play. So,
in terms of local tourism as well, I'm always advocating for people to come to Bridgewater for the carnival.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's like the best thing ever.
I mean, I've been to so many carnivals, I think it's lost its appeal to me, but it's like the biggest carnival. Isn't it the biggest carnival in the world?
One of them. Yeah, you can see it from space.
Everyone says that, and this is what I tell everyone. I'm like, yeah, you can.
Is that true? Is that true?
Yeah. I don't know. I never checked.
I think it is true.
Do you reckon it is true?
Yeah.
I guess you'd have to become an astronaut to find out.
Yeah, but who tested this?
Yeah, I know.
Who tested this?
They asked Neil Armstrong back in the 60s. Oh yeah, while you're up there, mate, have a look at Bridgie while the carnival's on. It coincided with it in my head, like the carnival with Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin and all that. But that's super cool, isn't it, about the paranormal stuff in Agapemone. And let's face it, if it's going to happen anywhere, it's going to happen there, isn't it? You know?
Yeah.
Literally, you live where like a weird, demented cult lived.
I don't think they were demented.
Oh, they were. Come on, let's spice it up.
Maybe
it sounds pretty demented. Crazy freaking Messiah, man.
I think the most demented thing is what they called their children, which was like peace and love and harmony. No.
Yeah, that's pretty cringe, isn't it? I mean, that's almost as bad as what like Gwyneth Paltrow named her kids, isn't it?
Oh God, what did she name her kids? Oh, Apple.
Oh, it wasn't. Yeah, it was like Apple and something else, wasn't it? So it's a couple of cringe things, wasn't it? You know. I think the Beckhams have named their kids something pretty cringe stuff as well, I think, haven't they?
It's just like this need to be unique.
Yeah.
It's like,
but it's
you're
just
a
bit.
narcissist, okay.
Yeah. I was gonna say, but it just comes across as like a bit naff, really, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's like, do you know?
Like, you don't have any real world problems, okay.
Yeah. Call my son Apple or like champagne or something, you know?
Champagne.
Champagne.
Yeah.
Oh, that's better. Yeah, champagne. Pronounce it like it's spelled.
Pronounce it like you're a British person that was born in the 40s.
Pagne.
I remember my grandparents
did take that now.
I remember my grandma pronouncing lasagna as lasagne once.
Yeah.
And I grew up in quite like a rugby orientated family, and there was this really famous English rugby star called Lawrence Dallaglio. Obviously, his dad was Italian, but he grew up in England, and they used to call him Lawrence Dallaglio. And I always thought that was quite funny as well. Yeah,
Dallaglio.
Bless him. But she was like born in Stugursie and stuff, and so I let her off.
I remember in music once I called Guige a Gigoo.
Well,
I was like,
yeah, again.
And everyone laughed, and I felt stupid.
Well, I remember
It happens to me all the time to this day. I am a very phonetic person, so I read things.
The worst thing is when you see like Irish names written down and you don't know how to pronounce them. I remember the first time I saw
letters.
like the first time I saw like the name Siobhan written down, and I was like Sioban. And then I can't remember who I was with, but they were like, "Man, that's how Siobhan's spelled," and I was like, "What?" I just never seen it written down before, and I was like,
and Eilish, our friend Eilish.
Yeah, one of our mates, Willie, his girlfriend's called Eilish, but like you said it, I think it's like Eilis or something like that.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't. Like, I was like Eilish, like or Ellis. Like that's a lot of people used to call it Ellis, but it's Eilish. Eilish.
It's a beautiful name though, really beautiful.
It is a nice name. Yeah, she's sound as well. Shout out Eilish, yeah, and shout out Big Willie. That's the name of our mate. We're not being rude.
Okay.
Yeah. How did you get into playing the piano and stuff?
I got sent a keyboard by random person.
You never know, it was a mystery.
A random person, no, by also, well, basically a random person, my father, my biological father.
Wherever that guy is. Sends it from an anonymous address.
Please don't contact. Just keep you quiet for another year. I just got sent a keyboard and genuinely just sat down and played it. So it was one of those really old Casios where you could press play and it would like play green sleeves in this really weird tinny way.
Oh, I had one of them as well.
Yeah.
Back in the day.
So I used to just like play it and just listen over and over again until I got it. And
you
then
had the muscle memory.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
And then eventually my mum must have been like, Jesus Christ, can we give her just something to make her learn more than just green sleeves? So they would have probably got me a piano book. Because it's
I like how
weird.
you don't even know. You're like, that's probably what happened. Yeah.
I don't know. Somehow I just started learning things.
Yeah.
Because this is before the days of YouTube when you could really teach yourself.
Yeah, now you can just look anything up. Like you want to learn a song, just go on, look up the chords or whatever, and then boom.
I learned how to grout a bathroom and grouted a bathroom, so through YouTube.
You can actually learn to do anything on YouTube, can't you?
Genuinely.
Like degrees are just like education, like formal education is pointless. You learn to do anything on YouTube.
Except for maybe surgery.
Oh yeah, it's probably. I'd say something like that. Yeah, probably go the more traditional route. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh yeah, I can give you a triple heart bypass. Oh right, can you? Yeah, I watched it on YouTube, mate. Oh no, right.
Easy.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. So that's how you got it. Because you actually you did music in school, didn't you? Oh no, or did you do drama?
No, I did do music because I did my drama GCSE 2 years early. Randomly, It was just an option that was available.
That's how advanced you were.
That's how advanced I was. No, they had the opportunity open for year 8s or something at my old school. I don't even know when I did it. I know details, but we did our GCSE in a year.
I didn't even know that was like an option to do GCSEs early.
Yeah, I've never heard of it ever since. It was wild, but there was quite a few of us.
They were like, that girl was in a movie with Rick Mail that she could do it early.
Just give her an A. No, I got B. I got an A in music and a B in drama. So
really,
yeah.
Like, what do you even have to do in drama GCSE? Do you know what I mean? Like, just dance about and sing.
Yeah, you just play lots of games. Zips that boing over and over.
I remember drama was a real fun lesson, like in school, wasn't it? Like, let's face it. If you had like let's face it, right? Say you've just come out of maths and you've got drama, like, come on.
Yeah. Exciting times.
Mrs. Guppy.
Yeah, I remember Mrs. Guppy, yeah.
Mrs. Guppy?
Oh, no,
yeah.
I never did drama, so I never had Miss Guppy.
Yeah, well, I think because of when you started school, obviously we didn't do drama, but, you know, obviously the first few years you have to sort of do everything, don't you?
Yeah.
So we had like Mrs. Guppy, and we would just do. I can't
who
really.
Was,
I mean, like,
who was our music teacher?
Mr. Wrong.
No,
both.
Mrs.
Both.
Hobson.
They were both weren't they?
Yeah,
Mr. Wrong first, but then for GCSE level it was Mrs.
great.
Hobson.
She was great.
Yes,
as well.
I remember wishing that we were still with Mr. Wrong when we had.
He was stricter, but he would probably teach you better.
Yeah. But I still got an A star, so.
Yeah.
Nice.
Mrs. Hobson was.
I know, my only one.
Miss Hobson was probably like, there was like the sort of teacher where like you could mess about more, but you couldn't learn as much. So swings and roundabouts. Yeah.
Well, I was sat next to Jake, so there was a lot of messing about. I think
Jake
they put
Harding.
me next to him to calm him down, and it didn't work.
Jake Harding?
Yeah, is it Jake? He had dark hair.
Yeah, Jake, he was in our tutor group, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, Jake Harding, yeah. He was like a real good mate of mine. Crazy Jake, yeah.
Yeah, Crazy Jake.
That's what I was just knowing. Crazy Jake, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jake's a legend. Jake's an absolute legend. But yeah, he was like, I remember once Mrs. Seeley, what was it she said? I remember once Mrs. Seeley pulling me and Jake into, Mrs. Seeley, by the way, if people were listening, was our head of year. She pulled me and Jake into the office. I can't remember, me and Jake had just been like told off for doing something. And then she said something like, Calum, did you know that you are officially the fourth naughtiest pupil in your year or something? And then she just like turned at Jake, and like threw her teeth, and suddenly just became a bit demonic and just went, and you're even higher than that. and then me and Jake were just like, whoa, you know, when like you're almost looking like a kid, and it's almost like you're like,
wow,
how
sorry
intense
for that snort, people.
Yeah, that's all right. We'll roll with it. To be fair, I didn't even notice. You know how like intense and angry like adults can get. Like when you're a kid, you don't really understand it. Like so, it's almost like you're trying not to laugh. It's like it's no like wonder really why like adults get so annoyed with kids sometimes, and why kids find adults so mental. Because I remember me and Jake were also looking at each other. We were trying not to laugh because she said it so angrily when she said that like that me and Jake and stuff. We were like whoa. But yeah, shout out to Jake as well. What a ledge.
I mean, the only time I've ever seen red in my life was with Jake, and I once.
I love that. What did he do? What did he do, Jess?
No, 'cause it's quite embarrassing.
Oh, come on. Yeah, but that makes it an even better story. Come on. This was like 18 years ago or something.
So Drew.
Ancient history.
I need to confess something. I think I had like a huge crush on you as a teen.
I remember that. Yeah. I remember that. I remember that you had a crush
on me. Oh, what?
I think you
missed opportunity.
No, I think you told me once. I think you told me once.
I think like I don't think we ever really spoke that much, so I think I was just genuinely in love with your hair.
I think I have a memory of you telling me once, Jess. I think the way you described it was like Drew is so cute or something like that. I think that's how you described it.
It was like I had such a crush on you, and I was sat next to Jake, and I must have just been like,
well done, my friend.
staring at Drew
from across the room. Meanwhile, Drew was just being like crazy with his like giving me a little Gershwin teddy bear or something.
Yeah,
he gave me a teddy bear in our music class called Gershwin because we'd just been learning about Gershwin. It was my birthday. How good's that? But anyway,
that's so cute.
Yeah, that's funny, isn't it?
And then Jake just went, "You have a crush on Drew, don't you?" And I went,
"Very insightful, Jake, for a crazy guy."
No, I just went no, and my whole face went tomato red, like so red. And he went, "Yeah, you do. I'm gonna tell Drew." And
good old Drew.
My life flashed before my eyes. I was like, "No!" So I grabbed a pen and started stabbing him in the head with it.
Whoa, man, that's like seeing red, isn't it? It's a good thing Jake's tough.
Yeah,
Jake is genuinely very tough.
He got in trouble for it.
I like how he got in trouble for you stabbing him in the head with a pen. Like potentially fatal.
Never give up a girl's crush.
Jake, you are one of the worst pupils in the year.
I know, I apologised to him after, because I was like, I deserve to be in trouble for that. I thought I was going to get
Jake was a bit of a wind-up merchant, wasn't he? I don't think he was even deliberately a wind-up merchant, but he just was a wind-up merchant.
Well, he didn't tell me, because I definitely didn't know that.
I mean, everybody knew apparently.
I never told you.
Well, apparently, I figured that Drew did know because I knew, and apparently Jake knew. I've just figured it was like everyone knew, but Drew didn't know. Maybe everyone but Drew knew.
I was very oblivious, I think, back then.
Oblivious, yeah. Drew was very oblivious. He's always very oblivious.
Yes.
Not to be confused
Drew
with
in the
herbivorous.
corner with a teddy bear being like,
yeah. This is Gershwin.
Good times.
You need.
Yeah. What a catch. It's a dream with love. Yeah.
Aww.
Well,
yeah, that was wild. Oh, poor Jake. I always remember that.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, yeah, he probably had it coming. But yeah, don't you think it's funny, one of those things, isn't it? It's like, isn't it hilarious that looking back though, like you had a crush on Drew, and you were sort of, and like, but you were really, literally, almost like violently angry at the thought that Drew could possibly know that. Like, surely, like really, you would want him to know. But that's sort of, again, that's child logic, isn't
We
it?
could have jammed on the piano all night long.
That's what he wants to call it, yeah.
Honey, you can go my keys anytime.
Yeah.
This podcast is getting weird.
The more weird and deranged it gets, the more at home I feel, though, to be fair. Yeah. So it's all good.
I can't put my camera on anymore either because it's... Oh no, because we've only got...
He's just saying that he's blushing.
No, I earlier on when we lost the camera, we're on the backup camera for Calum now. So like
do you
the
want
other
to just come and
ones
sit
don't
here,
come.
Come if you want.
That's cool, man. No, if I had a smaller camera, I would.
Actually, Calum,
Too much.
Could you
Too
just
much for
leave?
me. I'll put on some Barry White first, and then I'll just leave. Right? And then what you guys do is up to you. Long lost passions.
You can only find this podcast on the dark web.
Yeah, this is only going to go out on Pornhub.
Yeah. Well, finally, my acting career is kicking off again.
I didn't tell you, Jess, but this is like one of those weird like audition pornos where like it makes out like the girl's like having an audition and it turns into like the weird porno.
This is the casting couch.
So you can get the part, right? You can be on the radio. If, there's a catch. Sorry.
As long as Jake has a cameo.
Yeah. Jake just comes in and windmills his penis and then runs out. And then Jess stabs him in the head though. And that's what makes him run out. Yeah. Any pens? Oh look.
Also like Jake.
Look. Pen's ready.
Huh?
There we go. Sharpie.
Oh, Sharpie.
Deadly. That is. Look at that. Look at that point, everybody. Look at that. That's lethal. That'll make you bleed.
I can do some serious damage with that.
Yeah, I believe it. I believe it. That's so funny. Do you know what? It's like I feel like I have a really dormant memory actually of you stabbing Jake in the head. I can imagine it caused quite a lot of a bit of a scene at the time.
Well, he effing blinded. So, and that was with Mrs. Hobbs, was it?
Probably.
Hobson,
Mr. Orme would not have tolerated that. He would have gone mental if that happened in his classroom.
He got sent out for swearing. And of course, like he tried to explain. He's like, this girl's just stabbed me in the head.
That's so, do you know what? That's so typical of the modern world, isn't it? Like you can stab someone in the head. Oh, but don't swear.
To be fair, I don't think she saw it happen.
She didn't see the stabbing.
She didn't see the stabbing. And to be fair, most lessons Jake did get sent out for something.
Oh yeah,
So
like pretty much everyone without fail,
it's
regardless
kind
of
boy cry
of
wolf
topic.
situation.
Yeah.
The
And then
one
he got-
time you get
Whereas
stabbed in the head.
really, weren't you? Like on the grand scheme of things. Like
Yeah, especially
mean,
music.
it's
It's a
relative,
lesson
yeah.
I really loved, so I didn't really
Yeah,
misbehave. But well, he had to go to the headmaster, and then the deputy head came, and I was so terrified. I was so scared because I have a real thing about being in trouble. I don't like to be yelled at. I don't like to be in trouble. I'm like such a goody two shoes. I'm still fun though, guys. I'm still fun. But
got to sell myself.
I follow. I'm a rule follower, and I get really anxious if I misbehave. I don't want to be
That's so
told
fun.
off.
No, I think that's cute.
Yeah. Oh, cutie pies.
And I like to buy calendars for people, Drew. I'll get you a calendar.
Yeah.
Only if it's got a picture of you on it.
Every single one is just Jess is like stabbing someone in the head in every single, like in a different way, in a different place, in every different one.
Yeah. But yeah, the deputy head came and he's like, "Can I speak to
Oh, was that Mr. Simpson?
Jessica?" Yeah, it was Mr. Simpson.
I
Yeah,
love
yeah.
Mr. Simpson. What a legend he was. I loved him.
And I got pulled outside, and he had an accent,
Did you-
didn't he? Did he have a Scottish accent?
He was
Did
from
you stab Jake in the
Oh, I
head?
got an Irish
Northern
accent.
Ireland. He was from Belfast.
I'm not even going to
He's
try
like,
I'm terrible at
Jess,
accents. but-
man, you naughty little girl, why have you been stabbing people in the head?
And then my crush moved from Drew to Mr. Simpson.
Bend you over my knee.
Oh, stop it,
Sorry,
stop it.
is that too much? Is that too much?
Yeah.
Yeah, I always take it too far.
Tickled my beard.
So then, so tickle my balls. Tickle my balls.
No, my beard, you dirty man.
All right, fair enough. Yeah.
Oh, my eyes.
Yeah.
He took me aside. He's like, I understand that Jake did this, but he's now told me that you stabbed him repeatedly in the head with a pen. And I was so terrified. I thought I was going to get expelled. I was so scared. So I was like, yes, I did.
Yeah.
But the thing is, Jake was being really annoying, and I'm really sorry, and I'll never do it again. And I'm so sorry. And he just, okay, go back to class, but you have to apologise to Mrs. Hobson. And then Jake got suspended. So
And then naturally, Jake got suspended. Poor Jake. Poor Jake.
As I said, I apologised. I felt so bad.
Yeah.
I was like, I really genuinely deserved.
I mean, it was a crime of passion, you know.
It really was. I was so.
It was a crime of
passionate
passion.
about you,
So. Yeah.
Baby.
He was so like passionate about you not finding out about her lust that she
I don't think anyone had a crush on me.
It was a pen and not a knife. Otherwise, Jake would be dead right now.
Mm.
You know, it would have been like more dramatic than anything.
I want to start Jake for not finding out about this.
I mean, I do too. I just thought you would have known. Do you know what?
Everyone knew but you, Drew.
Wait,
Everyone knew but you.
Wait, I just thought about something, right? Trust me, right? I know Drew very well. He obviously would have known, but he's forgotten that he knew. Or he probably forgotten the moment he was told. That's just a very Drew thing. That's something
Yeah,
Honestly,
I don't have
I
any
think in
recollection
school
of
I
that.
wasn't very cool. Like I wasn't.
I thought you were really cool.
You were?
What?
Yeah,
That
you
was
were.
Weird.
No, you were likable, definitely, Jess. You were likable.
Thanks, guys. Thanks,
All of
guys.
us guys always liked you. We thought you were cool. Look, you're in Guest House Paradiso. Awesome.
Played
Rick
an
Mount.
awesome piano.
Great musician.
Singing.
Boom. Instant respect.
Oh,
And
thanks.
you were just, and also, like, you're just like a nice person. Like, what more? I mean, what more could you want?
That's
like,
the
you know?
lie I like people to believe.
But you know what I mean? I mean, there's so many people. I mean, what was there? Like 120 people in our year or something. A wide variety of characters. And let's face it, it's not about good or bad. It's just some people clash and some people, you know, you just sort of mix with very well, you know? And, you know, there's always going to be maybe a couple of people in your year that aren't your cup of tea. But I mean, man, I would never put like someone like you, Jess, into like the
Not a cup of tea.
category. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Definitely cup of tea.
Yeah.
The tea.
Yeah,
we the tea club.
We start posthumously
Yeah, well,
start
same
a
people,
school
absolutely.
tea.
To be honest, I like really looked up at you guys as the really cool rockers.
Oh, thanks.
Hey, you guys
Yeah,
are
do you know what,
so cool. Look at
Do
Drew's
you know what?
hair.
One thing that's really nice and humbling is like actually like quite a few people say that. It's like stuff like that, and it's actually like really nice to be almost like think that that's what we were like in school, because let's face it, kids nowadays would have thought that how we were in school, and it's just a sign of the times, I guess. Would have probably thought we were like really sad, but it's nice to know that in those days we were considered really cool.
Yeah, well, it just shows your own perception of yourself is completely inaccurate as well.
Mm.
I mean, I think especially as a teenage girl, I was very like insecure.
Yeah, I think a lot of teenagers are, or especially girls. And I think guys are boneheads when they're teenagers. Like I wouldn't have even like stopped to ever even think about anything, if you know what I mean. Like I wouldn't have ever thought like, are we cool or are we not? I would have. I was just busy being. You know.
Busy
I think when you're like busy wrestling or jamming or being silly, yeah.
I was definitely more insecure, I think, or like I fell into that.
You
more,
definitely
just
were,
like weird and like not as like, you know, overly confident in like being funny way, but not in like
that was almost
cool way or anything like that.
That was almost your crutch to be the Joker.
Yeah. Hiding behind the jokes.
Yeah, because obviously, like, we used to chat all the time, didn't we? And you used to say, like, you know, that you weren't confident in this way or that way.
But then it was like no one took me seriously, and that used to really annoy me. But it was my own fault because I was just being stupid all the time.
And then he'd get drunk and be really angry.
Yeah,
like,
like,
you took him seriously.
And then
Take me seriously.
this whole time, I'm just going like, he's so sensitive and poetic.
Yeah.
Got really nice hair. I swear it was the hair.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, it was
wish I
good
never
hair,
cut my
man.
hair off now.
Well, I think hair is like a very
Sorry.
primal thing, isn't it? Like, I can't help it. I think when you do see, especially, there's something about like really long, nice hair, which is just very attractive, isn't it?
I mean, all of my crushes as a teenager were long-haired rockers. It was just my jam.
Care to name any other than Drew?
Antikiadis had such a big crush on him.
Oh, yeah, Red Hot Chili Peppers guy.
Yeah. The lead singer of... Oh, he had short hair, though. The lead singer of Incubus was super
Brandon
hot.
Boyd.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Even I had a crush on him.
Oh, he's a beautiful man.
His voice is insane.
I was such a big fan of Incubus back in school. I
Oh,
was such a big fan in school.
Incubus. Oh, that's a good band. That's a good band.
Oh, they're a really good band. They're the sort of band that like I won't listen to for years, and I'll chuck them on and be like, yes, it's pretty
Are they
good.
still
Pretty good
together now? Like,
Yeah.
Oh,
They
nice.
played in Cornwall
Are
last year. I
they?
almost
Didn't
went,
their
but
music
I
go
was.
really weird?
I'd love to go.
It's not. I don't think it's.
Not
Yeah, I
the
mean,
same.
if I'm being honest, from my point of view, it's not as good as it used to be.
Mm.
I think if their last really good album, from my point of view, was this one called "If Not Now, When," and that was released, I think, off the top of my head, around probably 2015, maybe a bit earlier. I don't know.
Oh, the lead
Yeah.
singer of Blind Melon had a massive crush on him.
Yeah. Lead singer
Remember his name.
died. considered one of the big sort of grunge bands back in the day, weren't they? But died. They got a really famous song that escapes my memory right now. But it's like they're one of those bands. They had like
No
big
Rain,
hit, didn't they?
maybe.
Yeah, I think that's the one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Quite like a
with the
happy
dancing
band for a
beat.
grunge band. Yeah, wasn't it? It was quite like, for grunge bands. It wasn't so much angsty, was it?
No,
It wasn't
no,
so much on the angsty spectrum.
I think they had some songs that were, but yeah, they're quite.
Yeah.
They weren't like Nirvana angst.
No. Or Alice in Chains level angst. Yeah. Yeah. Full angst.
Yeah. Which was my whole personality.
Any other long-haired rockers that you particularly liked, Jess? Just delving into that a bit.
I can't think of any more actually. I dated James for like
James. Who's James?
James.
Who's James?
Christodoulou.
No. Jimmy C. So that's another guy from my year that I really freaking got on with. Jimmy C. James Christodoulou. Shout out James Christodoulou though. He was a legend, man.
It's so bad that I've forgotten his surname.
You can't. So he was your boyfriend, and you can't remember his name
for like years.
That's so bad, Jess.
Told you, I'm really bad at names. Though I had quite a lot of seizures as a child, so you know. I think with the diabetes.
Excuses, you know.
I really think I've wiped out a lot of my brain function.
Oh.
James not Marston. No.
Masters?
Marsden.
Marsden?
Was he? James.
That rings a bell for some reason.
He was
James
best friends
Marsden.
with Jacob Solomon, who I also dated.
James. It's a party. There's a party around this. It rings a bell. Do you know what? That name really rings a bell, but I can't. Was he in?
Oh my god, he played trumpet in that ska band.
Shoot the Moon.
No, not Shoot the Moon. The other one.
Oh, the other one.
My left foot.
There was two.
Just what stiff? No. I don't know. I feel like there's loads of things that I want to say, but I can't think. Was he in our year, Jess?
I met him at Bridgie College, I think.
Was he in our school?
No, I don't think he went to Haygrove.
James Marsden, was it?
No.
Moretti.
No, not Moretti. No.
Is it Masters or Marsden or something?
Oh, I feel like that's it, but it might actually be
Marsden's pasties.
Imagine how funny it would be if that guy listened to this and was like,
I love Joe.
That'd be so good.
You live together. Oh my god.
James Mansfield? Yeah. Oh, is that him?
Yeah.
Must.
Wait, I found him on Facebook.
It's amazing.
I typed in James
Yeah.
Yeah. So bad. Yeah.
Oh, James Mansfield. I remember him, yeah.
Mansfield.
There he is.
Yeah.
Jess, how could you not remember me?
There you go.
Well, good luck to you, James. Sorry about that.
Yeah. Yeah. That's hilarious.
It's because, James, the trauma was so much leaving you that
as a way of
from my memory.
As a way of coping with it mentally, you just blanked it out.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
seriously,
like childhood
though,
trauma.
what were the seizures? I didn't know you had seizures.
Because she's a diabetic.
Oh, is that something?
Yeah.
If you.
It doesn't happen to all diabetics.
Only special ones.
Only such a narcissist. I'm a special diabetic. My pancreas is worse than yours. So a lot. It's when your sugar levels go really, really low. So kind of what happens is your brain starts to shut down functions it doesn't need. So including parts of your brain. So sometimes, like during the night, if my sugar levels dropped, I would end up having a seizure.
Oh wow!
So,
just while you're asleep, so waking up having a seizure. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I remember having to pull
memory
Quixie
loss
once.
for a good day. It's really weird.
Really?
Yeah,
That's
it's
brutal,
really
man, to be
spinny.
honest. It is brutal, isn't it?
But I've just stopped having them anymore, which is really weird. So as an adult, I don't really.
Is there any like theory behind why that is? Or?
Keeping on top of your diabetes very well.
Yeah, I'm better. I mean, the technology is so much better. Like, I have an insulin pump, and
Do you think that's purely what it is, just the technology and stuff, and you managing it better?
Yeah, but I definitely have less hypos during the night. But as I said, like I've met loads of diabetics who haven't had a single. They've had loads of hypos, but they haven't had seizures.
I just wondered if it was a bit of one of these things, and obviously I mean, they're comparable in the regard that they're something that you have and you're not ever really gonna get rid of. But like I was born with asthma, and I like nearly died from asthma attacks several times when I was a really little boy. But don't take an inhaler now. Haven't had an asthma attack in literally decades, and I might as well not even have it. But obviously, I have it. Like it's not something you get. It's not something you get rid of. But no, I was just interested. Like I don't know if it's just like I don't know. I mean, I don't know if I've subconsciously I deal with it better. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. But
I mean, I was having them up until like my mid-20s, and then all of a sudden, I've had.
I remember in school you having like
seizures.
the pen, and like sometimes you'd be like, my blood sugar level's low, and you having to.
Yeah, I used to milk it quite a lot though.
Yeah.
Just be like,
What,
oh
just
yeah, I
like,
can eat
Don't
in
like
class.
this lesson. I'm going out.
I remember you being in class and being like, yeah, being jealous of that. Yeah.
I mean, I don't have many things with a broken pancreas, so I seize on the things I do have. There's
I mean,
very
just
few
you know,
benefits.
pros and cons in life, isn't it? I mean,
Anytime.
potential seizure, eating in class. You know.
Yeah,
Gotta take-
I feel
gotta
very
take your
lucky.
wins.
I feel blessed.
Yeah. That's freaking awesome though that you're taking up music again. We definitely thoroughly support that.
Yeah, once I've got something decent I can upload, I will definitely.
Do you record stuff yourself and like can you produce it? Do you have those sort of abilities?
Yes, in a very basic way.
Yeah, sure. I mean, obviously there's levels to music.
I mean, I don't
production.
even have a piano. I have a MIDI board, so have a setup, and I had kind of a really good microphone anyway for voiceover work that I want to get into. I haven't sorted out.
Sure.
You can get some great MIDI piano sounds on, like VST instruments with really nice grand piano sounds for MIDI keyboard.
Yeah,
That's
for
cool.
sure.
Whereabouts are you as well, Jess?
London.
In London.
London?
Yeah, currently.
London.
What accent is that?
London.
But when you come down to see when you come down to see your mum and dad
that's okay.
next, we'll have to like record something or we'll do some video
and we should even
like
maybe as like a little fun
piano.
project. Maybe we could even like I don't know either you write a song and we add some guitars and vocals to it, or I write a song and you put some piano to it, or we write a song on the spot and just record it.
Yes.
We should so do that, shouldn't we?
Awesome.
Because I remember you told me, because when we were sort of going back and forth, weren't we, about arranging this, you did say obviously you're back to see your parents, which obviously would make sense. I mean, I guess, you know. But and I did obviously say, like, you know, let's sort it out like this, but then if you ever want to come back on the show like in person or come into the studio, then obviously you're more than welcome. So yeah, let's
do a little live session over at Ruby's house. That'd be cool.
Yeah,
that would be
awesome.
absolutely brilliant. Oh, and I really want to see Emily as well.
Yeah. Emily's always saying about her, like how because she's obviously a Spaxtoner as well.
Yeah.
And that's how I knew that you lived in the Agapemone, because Emily told me. And Emma always like speaks really highly of you.
Oh, she's such a babe. You bagged a good one there.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And
oh my god, her cakes. Oh my god, her cakes.
I can clarify as well that they taste even better than they look.
Oh, which is amazing because they look incredible. So
she's a very multi-talented person, Emily. To be fair, she's actually like an absolute beast in the gym as well.
Oh my god,
you wouldn't necessarily.
I've
like,
seen
I don't know if you'd like think it,
she's
but
toned.
Yeah, like just like really natural, like really like almost naturally like freakishly strong and stuff. It's right, fair play. So unassuming as well, because she doesn't carry herself like it at all. She's just like a little quaint Spaxton baker / likes doing little arts and crafts and stuff, you know.
Oh,
and then randomly
is,
just
like, genuinely so lovely and sweet as well.
Oh yeah. She is literally like the best mum ever as well. Best mum ever.
Oh,
her ears are gonna be burning so much. Listen to this.
Oh, bless her.
Stop. Come on, guys.
It was so lovely to see you guys get together though, from afar. I was like, oh, those two
from Instagram in London.
Yeah, from the online stalking.
Yeah, well, as soon as you lifted over 100 kilos, I was sold.
I do mean outside your bedroom window.
Outside our house, yeah, with binoculars.
Yeah.
I mean, it would have been a good show.
Oh.
And here we are again, addressing Calum's sword.
Yeah, but yeah, no, it's because she said that she used to hang around with you sometimes in Spaxton, and she said that was always, you just always so nice and stuff.
I remember going to the Palace with her as well.
Yeah.
Like I feel like we went to the Palace back when they had karaoke in the top. That was weird.
Oh, what, in the Casbah?
Yeah,
was it
that
Casbah?
was weird.
Are they karaoke? It was, yeah. I mean, let's face it. The whole Bridgewater nightlife is just a weird thing, isn't it?
It was weird.
It's a strange little town of nightlife.
First place I got declined because I was too young.
Well, naturally.
Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I was 6, but
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, obviously, I guess it depends what age you start going out. But yeah, luckily, that's never even once happened to me. Once.
It's that beard,
you have that beard. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Yeah. I mean, I tried, but I couldn't do it.
That was a point of contention in year 11. I remember Miss Seeley always used to have a go at me and Josh having beards, and I just think it was such a weird thing to get angry with someone about. Like, you know, it's almost like discriminatory.
I still can't believe you could grow a beard when you were 16, man.
I mean,
that's like insane.
Really impressive.
I could grow a beard when I was in year 9. Really, both me and Josh could.
God,
we were just one of those guys. We started shaving when we were like in probably year 7, and that was it. Really, from that point on, we had to shave.
I started getting like a Mexican mustache. So that was about it.
Yeah, you had like a bit of one of those. Yeah, it looks like a Mexican mustache, doesn't it?
I stared at it many times.
Yeah.
It's so wispy. It catches the sunlight.
It looks like his name's Javier. What are you going for, guy? Right, Jess, let's do some quick fire questions. I always think it's like real fun to do this with guests because it's like real interesting insights you find out about people that unless you were doing something like this, you would never know. And I feel like you could almost find out so much about somebody with little questions like this. Okay.
Okay.
So, what would you say is your favorite movie of all time, or your favorite movies?
I can't do one, so I'm just gonna read out.
Give me a couple.
Love Studio Ghibli.
I have no idea what that is.
I'm gonna write these down.
So like Spirited Away, Howl's Moving Castle. They're all like
I've heard of
Japanese
Spirited Away.
animations.
Are they all Japanese movies? Are they?
Yeah.
What was the Studley Ghibli one? First one?
Giblets. Studley Giblets.
Studley Ghibli?
Studio Ghibli. So it's
Studio Ghibli.
GHIBLI.
What's it about?
That's the kind of umbrella of like it's like Disney but for the animation.
Oh, okay. Cool.
So they do all like the Spirited Away and Howl's Moving Castle. They're great. They're really magical, beautiful animation because it's all hand painted, so the artistry is incredible. Massive fan of that. I love Cloud Atlas. Don't know if you've seen that. It's a really good fantasy.
I've heard of that one.
No,
yeah.
I don't think I have heard of it.
Yeah, fantasy kind of
real
style.
Fantasy kind of sci-fi. Obviously Buffy is the best thing known to man.
Yeah. I definitely like the Cloud Atlas by the sounds of things. It's like a fantasy sci-fi thing.
It's really good.
Cloud Atlas. I'll have to try and remember that.
My boyfriend is like a massive film lover and he's really got me into some really good ones recently. Like I completely missed Nicolas Cage. I completely missed it. And now like he's shown me Con Air and Face Off.
Oh, Con Air?
Put the money back in the box. It's so good.
Con Air is amazing.
Oh, it's so good.
Cyrus the Virus.
Cyrus the Virus. Oh, and then we watched The Big Lebowski the other day.
Oh, yeah.
Which
that's a classic movie.
I've never seen that, but I need to.
That really good. Jeff Bridges is in that, isn't he? Jeff Bridges.
Yeah.
We were that close to watching it the other night.
Really?
I've heard of that movie. I don't know what it is, but
do it. And then like even he really likes black and white ones, so like old Hollywood.
Nice. Nosferatu.
Sullivan's Travels was really good. Really, really good.
Nice. So like a proper student of the game sort of thing.
Yeah. It's really his passion, which is really nice because I'm kind of getting to learn all about it, and he's getting to show me.
I guess it's nice as well because I guess when you're watching it as an actress, you're like picking up different like things from different eras that maybe different actors and actresses like had.
For him, because he's an actor as well, so
nice.
For him it's always been. Yeah, he definitely.
Well, it's a good way to learn, isn't it?
It's a good way to absolutely. You've got to learn from the masters. We all come from it, like as in TV and film.
Yeah. Any other big sort of like movies or programs that spring to mind?
I do like things like American Horror Story.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, I like that.
And the
I think Roanoke was my favourite one. Oh, and Asylum. I really liked Asylum.
My favourite, and that's not many people like it, but I'd love the twist of like that. It's a documentary.
What, the Roanoke?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of people say it's like the worst season. I'm like, it's the best.
Did they? I didn't even know that. I thought it was consecrated land. I thought that was really good. That says consecrated land.
A really good balance of like humour and horror.
I tell you what, as well, that was genuinely quite freaky, man. Yeah. There were some moments of that where I was like, man, this is like scarier than most horror movies. Like,
I was
legit.
slightly, like, really like disturbed by when the it's one of the really final episodes when the kids filming it, or like the really young kids, they get murdered, and it's really horrific.
Whenever you have kids, it always hits home a bit more. I remember one thing that I thought was really good, because it was like quite a freaky season in general, but then right at the end, when you realise that the documentary, or whatever you want to call it, had like made it not as scary as it was, because they had like Lady Gaga as like that pagan, I mean, this is so spoiler alert, Lady Gaga as that like pagan goddess and stuff, and like it was more like, yeah, I mean, she was sort of creepy, but she was also sort of like creepy and like quite sexy in a way, but like then when at the end it was like just full blown, like every single character was like way more terrifying than they were in like the documentary version or whatever. And I thought that was really good, because it suddenly made it like next level, like completely next level. And like Kathy Bates' character, like the real one of that, if you know what I'm trying to say, because she played the consecrated land.
Angry about her accent, and I think it's perfect, because she is essentially a terrible actor trying to do it, you know, like
I think it's great, it adds to it. And also it's really fun to go consecrated land. But yeah, I think that I enjoyed that so much. I watched that with Emily, and Emily like it's such like a scaredy pie when it comes to and she was like scared. She was like, "There's no way I could watch this on my own." It was so funny.
The buff, he won't watch it. He's really not into horror. No, not.
No, so you just watch that on your own.
Yeah.
So you like your horror then? You like?
I like horrors. I love House of Bly Manor and. No, sorry. Is that what it's called? Yeah.
I think that's right.
I haven't heard of that.
I think that's right, isn't it?
They're really good. They're terrifying, those ones.
Are you a fan? Like, are you much of like a student of like horror? Sort of just the whole genre. Like, do you watch much horror movies? Like, are you a fan of like, say, like, would you watch the old Hammer horrors and things like that?
I did. I don't think I'd rewatch them. I never really was into slasher. I'm not into stabby. I'm not into them either. Creepy.
Have you ever watched, like, for example, have you ever watched like The Devil Rides Out?
I've watched YouTubers tear it apart. Does that count?
Yeah, you should so watch that. It's a great movie. And also like things like The Devil Rides Out. It's got Christopher Lee in. Rest in peace.
I haven't heard of that one actually.
The Devil Rides Out. You should so watch that. It's a great movie. And also like the original, like The Fog, like I think is a great movie. Like, because there was a crummy remake a couple of years ago, but the original The Fog, and it's got such a good horror soundtrack as well. It's fantastic.
Oh, I
think there's so many iconic like horror movies. It's like one of my favorite things to do is watch like a really good iconic horror movie. You know.
Well, it used to be like such a thing back in the day when where did you used to rent movies from?
Blockbuster, yeah.
Yeah, I used to, as young teens, go to Blockbuster, get like a pound of Skittles, pretend I didn't have diabetes, and watch. You just like, you'd look, because you didn't really know if a film was good or not, so you would just kind of look around the shelves, and you would find. Sorry, that's my cat screaming.
Oh, hello, cat. What's your cat called again?
Tora.
Hi, Tora. I used to have a cat. Do you know what? I used to have a cat called Henry. And I think, do you know what I mean? Do you know what? I think we might have even commented on each
pets that have like really human names.
Yeah, my friend's dad it's quite comical, isn't it? It's quite comical, isn't it? But yeah, I used to have a cat called Henry, because you've got like a very fluffy tabby, haven't you?
Yes, yeah.
And I used to have a Norwegian forest cat called Henry.
Oh yeah, I remember the pictures.
They looked very similar.
Yeah,
and he brutally like. Oh man, I was so upset. I have no shame in admitting I cried when he was run over, and then we had to put him down because basically he was like maimed beyond fixing.
I'm so sorry, that's so traumatic.
But man, yeah, because I think you might have even commented on one of my old pictures of Henry. This is like would have been like 2017 or something, and saying something like, "Oh my god, we have twin floofs" or something like that.
Yeah. That sounds like me. Yeah,
and then I was like, because you would put up pictures of your cat from time to time, and so would I, and we'd be like, yeah, they look really similar. And I remember thinking it was also quite funny because do you remember Jess White, who was in our class at school?
Yeah, of course.
I also had like a ragamuffin cat who was like super black and fluffy called Mr. Scraggles, and she had like a black ragamuffin cat as well, and they looked really similar. So it was like I had two people from my tutor group at school that both had cats that were very similar to mine. But yeah, Jess has gone to get a cat. Legend. Yeah. Oh, hello, mate.
Aww.
Whoa, what a ledge.
Hello.
Hello. You like, leave me alone.
He's very antisocial. He hates people. That's why we get.
Yeah, but that's
along
one of
so
the reasons
well.
I like cats. That's one of the reasons I like cats. You know, I like their attitude.
relate.
You know, and I feel like if they love you, it means more. You know.
Yeah. I don't like those
Because-
swaggy cats that
Yeah,
go around.
if you're-
everyone.
If you're loved by
Morticia.
yeah. I used to have a cat called Morticia that was like that. If you're loved by something that loves everything, well, like, what's the value in that? You know.
Camera shy.
Keep your love.
Yeah.
That's what I'd say. That's what I'd say. But getting back to our quickfire questions, what's your favourite colour?
Pink.
Ooh, very girly.
I know.
What's your favourite food?
I don't know. I
No?
do really like milkshakes.
That's not really a food, is it? I mean,
It's a
actually,
it's
no.
a liquidized ice cream.
I mean, to be fair, I remember reading that they do class milk as a food rather than a drink, because even though you drink it, its macronutrient profile is it's like the only liquid
Lots of protein.
that is like a more like a food than a drink. You know, in terms of it has carbs, fats, and proteins, whereas most liquids don't. So.
I'm quite a baby food type person. Like, I don't literally eat baby food, but I mush my food into
That'd be a bit weird. Yeah.
But I mush my food into a bit of a pulp, a mushy pulp, and
Oh, fair enough.
baked beans are great as well. I'm rediscovering baked beans.
So, like, are you like so you're very simplistic with your food choices.
Yes.
So you're not really like. It's so funny because a lot of people are like Thai food or like curries or like that. Not really for you, Jess.
Baked potatoes and baked beans. Actually,
So British. I love it.
I'm really enjoying my boyfriend's like specialty dish to make me happy is a grilled cheese.
Oh, very nice. Oh, very fancy.
yeah.
Very
It's
fancy.
delicious.
Grilled cheese, anybody?
I'm easy to win over. Give me a grilled cheese and I'm there.
And then she's your gal. She's a gal. And a massive afro-y long hair like Drew's used to have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dream man.
Yeah. What's your favourite music to like listen to? Whether it be at the moment or of all time or both?
I hate to admit that I'm one of those people who has like just multiple Spotify playlists. And
yeah.
don't really know who people are anymore, which is really bad. So I tend to whack it on depending on what my mood is.
Mm-hmm.
So I have some good stuff going on my workout stuff. So like Pretty Reckless, quite like them. And then I also have like a folk playlist that's just really depressing.
I've got a very depressing folk playlist as well, but it's beautiful.
It's
I love
so
folk
beautiful.
music.
So
I
I
love
mean,
folk
like,
music.
this is
What sort of
stuff
folk music do you like, Jess?
So I loved Iron and Wine. Still love Iron and Wine. Who else?
Do you listen to any like the old? Go on.
Oh, I was gonna say like even like Damien Rice. It's really. That's
Do you ever
so
listen to like
2000s.
any of the old like classic like folk stuff from back in the day, like Pentangle and Steel Eye Span and Fairfield Convention and stuff like that? Not really. No,
because as I said, I kind of have just a playlist of random stuff that's just thrown it. So maybe I do. It might be on it.
I'll send you my folk playlist.
Yes, please.
It's called Hern Protect Us, and yeah, you can just give it like a little, stick it on shuffle and see if there's anything in there that you like the sound of.
Oh, yes, that's such a dream come true.
Because I'm a right folk music nerd as well, so it's like a treasure trove of folk stuff. So I've done all the work for you if you want to find some stuff.
Yeah,
and some of it
really
might not float your boat, but just skip it, innit? You know.
I mean, to be honest, the folk playlist that I have was mostly created by someone else, and I just jumped on it. And then I've just added in like my own favourites from back in the day.
Sure.
I definitely don't like discover music anymore.
Really?
Yeah, it's really sad, isn't it? Just because it's just so busy, and a lot of my listening time goes to podcasts and audiobooks.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah. To be fair, I think there's a lot more of an incentive for me where I like work in radio. Do you know what I mean? It's like to try and discover like new music and new bands all the time and stuff like that.
And I think it's a town as well where music is part of the life as well.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like me and Josh Ayers, like so much of what we just talk about when we meet up is just like bands, just music, and bands and stuff. Like, you know. So any other bands and stuff like that you would like think of?
Trying to think.
Or like or like when you started playing the piano, for example, was there anybody that like inspired you other than like Greensleeves that you thought, oh, I'd like to play like that, or
I mean,
not
definitely
really?
Regina Spektor was a huge one for me because she was just mad. Her songs are absolutely bonkers. Like the lyrics of them are, she said she used to write stories. So they're all these kind of imaginary, they're not like about love. And, you know, one of them is called Chemo Limo, which was weird. About having cancer, which is really depressing actually. But how like
but there's an outlet for anything, you know. There should be an outlet for anything, you know. That's a good thing about music.
It's kind of like a story of like, oh, if I'm gonna die, I want to go out in a bang with a bang. So I want a limo where I can like.
That's epic. That's a bit like, it reminds me a little bit of The Show Must Go On by Queen. Like, how epic is that song? Do you know what I mean? Like, you can tell he poured his heart and soul into that. Like, you get like goosebumps listening to that song, man.
And watching him perform it as well is like.
Insane. Is there anything else you want to say or mention or plug or anything, Jess, before we wrap it up?
Do you know, I do have a plug actually. I've got a really, really good friend of mine is an actor called James Payton. He was in Harry Potter. He was Frank Longbottom. He was also in Captain America. He was Hitler.
Not anything like it in real life. Don't worry.
I daren't comment. No, he's really fascinating. He's done all sorts. He's kind of one of those actors you kind of know but didn't realise you know.
Yeah, sure. He's just been in lots of things.
He's just finished filming The Diplomat and Silo and loads of really, really cool projects. Luc Besson's new movie, Dogman. But he has a documentary out about his life or about his career called Who is James Payton? So it's on Amazon. I'm biased because I really like him, but it is a really good documentary, especially if you are into films, you're into acting, because it's such a real look at the ups and downs of being a working actor. Because a lot of it is going to Comic-Cons and traveling and staying in travel lodges and you know, having like huge like kids coming up to you crying, going, "Sign my autograph," and then the next minute you're kind of in a crappy hotel room, like. Sure.
Brutal business in a way.
And his life is really interesting as well. He's a really interesting guy, really, really sweet guy.
Cool. So what's it called again? The Life of James Payton.
No, Who is James Payton? Who is Payton?
Nice, and that's on Amazon.
Yes. Yeah.
I'll check it out. And where can people find you, Jess, if they want to check you out and follow you?
Come follow me, please. I'm on Instagram at Jessica K Mann, and I also have a Twitter which is at Jessie K Mann, just to confuse people.
Nice.
But I do post quite a lot, especially any film projects that I'm doing.
Are you working on any at the moment, or?
Well, tomorrow I'm going to be performing A Christmas Carol in front of a load of teenagers, so that should be fun.
That's a bit of the wrong time of year, isn't it?
Yeah, it's because it's their GCSE. So.
Oh, I see. I see.
So I'm very kind of I got a call yesterday, kind of saying one of our actors is sick because it's a tour I did last year. So they're like, "Oh, do you mind stepping in?" So it's kind of a play I haven't done for a year. Never met the cast. Just.
Really?
We're not going to be able to rehearse. We're just going to have to turn up and do it.
What's that like for you? Do you find that like fun, or is it daunting, or are you just like whatever?
I feel daunted right now. But I like when you're actually on stage, you're so in it in the moment that you just crack on. I mean, especially on stage, you do screw up sometimes. I mean, even when we're on tour and we're doing it several times a day, sometimes you get so used to the character and the part that you kind of switch off a little bit. And that's when mistakes happen. So being able to, it is really fun to just improvise your way out of it. And
let's face it, when you do anything live, there's always going to be like a couple of mistakes, whether it's music or acting or whatever, you know?
Yeah. And most of the time people won't notice.
Yeah, no, they really don't. Like it bugs you loads, but people are like, oh, I don't even know. So yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, thanks so much for coming on, Jess. It's been a real pleasure. Yeah, we'll have to do it again. And as I said, when you're back in Somerset next, or you know, let's or maybe even if we can't get it in one go. Are you back like monthly or?
Yeah, I try to do kind of once a month or so.
Yeah. Even if we have to do it in a couple of like, you know. over the course of a couple of months or something. Let's do some music projects together or something. That'd be real fun, and that'd be really good.
I'm so excited.
And then we can put it on the radio. Woohoo!
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
That'd be awesome, wouldn't it? So cheers everybody for listening today. This has been Jess Mann with us on Pandora's Box. Have a great week, everyone. Cheers.
Bye.